Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Thursday night regularly scheduled hostilities with your hosts, Chuck Winchester, Yvonne DeBoard, and the current RSH Heavyweight Champion of the World, Josh DeBoard. It is a Thursday, which means yesterday was Wednesday, which has become the historic death day in WWE. And this year is even more historic because we've had 2 death days in the past about month and a half, 2 months. So lots to talk about tonight right here on our regularly scheduled hostilities. So let's go ahead and get to it. So like we already mentioned last night, or actually yesterday in the middle of the day, it was announced that 5 big names and one name I haven't really heard of was released from WWE. And those guys are the names of Riott, Lana, Murphy, Alister Black, and Braun Strowman, which is one that threw a lot of people off. So yeah, guys, Braun Strowman and Alister Black are really the 2 big ones, that were released. And quite frankly, I was pretty shocked yesterday to see those 2 names. What do you think, Yvonne?
Yeah, it's pretty shocking for Strowman and for Alister, and for me, Riott, because they had her and Liv Morgan almost in the tag team title picture almost. That's kind of shocking to me, but everybody else, I'm not really surprised. But
yep, absolutely. I mean, it was, especially with Lana, she was a big part of TV for a long time, even after Rusev left. She debuted with her now husband, had their gimmick. They kind of did their thing. They left, and then she was on TV with the current WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. Gone. Alister Black just came back after a long absence. We were talking about him months ago on this show, and I was like, he's going to get fired. And then they brought him back on TV.
You did.
And then as soon as they brought him back on TV, it's like, oh, he's good. Boom. And then, of course, Braun Strowman, who just fought Shane McMahon at this past year's WrestleMania. He beat Goldberg for the WWE title. There's just crazy. And I think Braun Strowman is one that was probably the most shocking when it comes to the WWE fan reaction on the internet. What do you think, Josh?
Alister was my biggest shock.
Yeah.
Braun's got a bloated contract. They said he makes about $1 million a year. So,
Lord,
there you go. Why you give him that contract to begin with? Vince loves the big guy, and he was high on him early, and then he's kind of flamed out.
And somebody talking about, their incomes, especially with guys like Braun Strowman, it was brought up that, when AEW came out a year and a half ago, they're buying up people, WWE was, and giving people big money to stay at WWE. And I'm sure Braun Strowman was one they wanted to keep big time when AEW kind of took off.
I think Braun was before. I feel like Braun, they re-signed early. But
how long was he into his contract?
Braun was there a couple years for AEW even was a thought.
No, I'm saying when he renegotiated his contract to re-sign with the company.
To look, but I don't think it was that.
I'm not saying it was, I'm just saying that could be why his contract was so big compared to others.
You know how Vince is with big dudes.
He does love them.
Vince loves those huge guys. 2019 July. When did AEW start? 2020. Are they 2 years in now?
They were around before that. They debuted on TV, I think October of 2020. So they became a thing right around that same time.
October 2nd. So a month before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they could have. But I think I don't know. At WrestleMania, he was a fill-in for Roman. They literally just put him in his spot and booked him to win. What's up, Cy?
Yeah.
Cy's still awake.
Hell yeah. What's going on, brother? But, yeah, it's just one of those things. Why was his contract so big? But Vince still does love the big guys. And he main evented a lot. So it makes sense he had
everybody's like, he was just in hell. It's funny. It's funny how the wrestling fan works. Because we're listening to leading up to what was the last pay-per-view? What the hell was it even called? It was so forgettable. Backlash after WrestleMania. That's
the zombie apocalypse.
So, Strowman was in it, and everybody's like, "Why is he in this match? He's so boring." 2 weeks later, he's fired. Like, oh my god, I loved him. So it's like,
well, yeah. The thing with Braun Strowman was he was so hot in 2017, and then they killed that, so people got kind of sick. I was one. I loved him. Then I got kind of sick of him.
Yeah, that's when
he was going to lose the big moments. So
the rest of this list. Murphy, you've seen kind of what they're doing. Nothing with him. Lana, things are probably. She has better opportunities elsewhere. Her husband's in AEW.
Porn.
I know Billy Corgan was on Busted Open this morning. I'd love to bring Lana in. So they're NWA. There's going to be tons of opportunity. Riott's going to be one of the. Yep. What's funny? she's probably going to be the hottest one out of this group. She's probably going to be the first one to get signed.
Yeah, she was
Everybody
probably
forgets about her, but Natalya said something the other day that she feels bad about winning the titles because originally they were supposed to win them at WrestleMania.
Is that right?
The Riott Squad. And then she's like, oops, I think I just
ruined that.
Yo.
She didn't write it. She didn't write herself.
Well, she's like, oops, I just broke the fourth. Like I just told something.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
But Liv's still there. At least SmackDown's women's roster, I think there's 6 now. 6 women, period.
Man. Right.
And
that's the thing too. A lot of people act surprised when the cuts happen. My opinion, I'm not surprised when the cuts happen, but like Murphy is talented. There are other guys that should be cut and keep the talented ones. Alister Black, we should have kept him and got rid of like 2 others that match his contract that suck. Otis, he can go.
Exactly.
There's guys like that just aren't going to do anything. But I feel like especially Murphy, Black, they could have done something really good, and they'll probably be back. Everybody goes back in WWE,
at some point.
Sometime we'll see Strowman. We'll see Strowman again in
He'll
WWE.
arrive sometime.
I mean,
it's just one of those things. And there's plenty of talent. There's plenty of guys on the roster that don't matter. Cedric Alexander, he's not going to do anything. He's just not. We've tried him for years. He's not doing anything. Get rid of him. Black, he could be doing something different and better. Even guys like Shelton Benjamin, he's not really putting anybody over. Get rid of him. He's not. Jeff Hardy
with Cedric.
Sure, Jeff Hardy. He's not really doing anything. Get rid of him. Like there are guys that can go, and there are guys that should stay. And I feel like Black and Murphy really should be staying. Lana, bye. Ruby Riott, she'll be fine. Strowman,
I think ultimately all of them will find another job.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, nobody's going to be homeless.
Right. Oh God, no.
They're going to be fine.
Alister's already teasing AEW. It's funny because their 90-day contracts run out, I think, a week before All Out.
Oh, is that right? So
we're going to see some.
Black will definitely be in AEW.
Let me guess. Casino Battle Royal. First person. Alister Black or Braun Strowman. So they do this every.
But you're acting like it's a big deal. Why would they should go to AEW? That's where they're on That's where their TV is. They should go to AEW.
They're by the time their roster's done, they're literally going to look like Raw and SmackDown of 3 years ago.
Well, that's when they need to
Hangman,
cut
Adam Page, and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
That's seriously look review they just did. Like their main event was the Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. So you got Jericho.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't either.
I knew. I did my predictions.
Well, nobody's doing 50.
Might be one of them.
But you got the Revival. There's 2. Chris Jericho. 3. Shawn Spears. 4. Who the hell else is in the Pinnacle? MJF's not a WWE guy. Wardlow, Hager. Half of their main event is WWE guys.
So
then
what?
Moxley. I know, but if they sign Strowman and Alister and Murphy and Keith Lee, but Jesus Christ, they're WWE 2.0. That's what they are.
They are.
After they came out and said they're not signing every WWE guy, and you're right. How's AEW going to have a 300-man roster with 3 hours of TV?
Well, that's when they need to do better.
They're going to end up in the same situation.
Sure, and that's when they need to get rid of people they're not going to do anything with. And when Jericho said we're not going to get WWE guys, he meant we're not going to get WWE guys just because they were WWE guys. But if that WWE guy who was let go or didn't want to be there anymore still has value, they'd be dumb not to get that person.
Why is Shawn Spears
because
there?
He should.
His value is he takes the pinfall because he took the pin.
Well, he got popular in NXT. I don't know how. I don't watch NXT. But
now you remember he did the 10
I know
he came out at the Rumble.
I understand that, but
that's what got him over.
They didn't carry it on the main roster.
Then Randy Orton stepped on his face once and broke his nose.
Exactly.
And
That was. Yeah.
But WWE gets you the main spotlight, so you would be dumb not to get those guys if they're worth getting. Black is obviously worth getting. My opinion, Murphy is too. Strowman, he's a name. But then you get guys like Hager, who I don't think matters, and that was probably a mistake.
I think Strowman would fit best on AEW, even though he's going to get lost in the shuffle. Look at the people they brought in from WWE. Most of them are lost in the shuffle.
Sounds about, yeah.
I mean, think of makeshift tag teams. They put Moxley and Eddie Kingston together, and they just lost to the Young Bucks. Like they're doing the same shit WWE get.
And they were just feuding to him and Eddie.
But then Alister, I'd like to see Alister not go to AEW.
I would like
to see somebody not.
What's he going to do anywhere else? That's spotlight. That's main spotlight.
Well, he came from Ring of Honor, so like, why not go where you got your start?
Because that's going backwards. That's going backwards. I mean, not as much.
I mean, if you just want to go frontwards, you just wait for WWE to bring you back like Drew did.
No, because you're going to sit there and get stale. Nobody's going to remember your name.
Well, go to Impact,
keep going,
build your shit back up, and you can come back in a few years.
Come
back in a while.
I think Black would fit really well with AEW.
I'm not convinced Black's not going to be back in WWE by the end of this year.
Not this year. I bet you he'll be back eventually. I bet you will see every name on this list back eventually because they're all pretty popular.
Yeah, see,
New Japan would make sense.
Yeah.
and they're working with AEW, so he could work with them, but not be with them.
Well, the New Japan, I just heard they're kind of making a deal with WWE.
Yeah, I know. Tony Khan thought he was cool having to cut promos. Like,
I
I'm the real
saw
Khan. It's
that.
like,
I didn't
bro,
watch it.
stop it.
Yeah.
I can't stand Tony Khan.
That's
He's such an
embarrassing.
arrogant prick.
I saw he did that promo. Like, I'm not going to watch that. That just sounds
No,
dumb.
and everybody's like, oh, Tony. It's like, stop.
I don't understand that, but go Jaguars, I guess.
I
even
mean,
though they suck.
I'm just curious. They're going to have this new show right after SmackDown, which they think such a great time slot, which did 500,000 Friday, which was easily their worst episode they've done in 7 months. Because everybody's like, they're going to watch SmackDown, then watch us. No, nobody's going to watch 2 hours of SmackDown and 2 hours of AEW
No,
on
yeah, I
a
agree with
Friday
you.
night.
I agree
So
with
they're
that.
going to have to rethink that time slot. Why they have time? Because they got a whole year to
Dude,
that show
wasn't
starts.
a good business. That was not a good business value. And here's what I agree with. Simon says, I have no issue with X guys going to AEW, but, Murphy wasn't getting used properly, neither was Black. So theoretically, if they are booked on AEW, we would get what we want. And that's your correct side with that. But AEW has historically not used their guys correctly.
They don't.
Do they use
You can't think anybody can.
they just use them so sporadically, then how do you care?
Yeah.
Like, you'll see Kenny, you'll see the Bucks, you see Coat, you'll see all the VVPs,
No, I agree
right?
with that.
Like, you'll see the same. Like, I like the Acclaimed. That's the tag team where the guy comes out and raps. They're good, but they'll come out and job to Kingston and Moxley. It's like they're not even a real they're best friends, but they're not a real tag team.
They're not.
They're a makeshift tag team, which WWE gets crushed for all the time. That's what they are. They lost to the Young Bucks, which I give them credit. I thought they put the straps on them, but I don't know. I don't think AEW is Alister's best. Lana could sit with Rusev.
She could.
The women's division still sucks. I know Britt's finally champion, but it's been rough for a long time.
If you have one really good person, it's been the whole division.
Yeah.
That
I think Ruby could add something to that division.
division's always.
I think Alister, I just feel like Impact's much better. He's going to get lost in the shuffle on AEW.
I know a lot of people want Black.
He's going to lose to Cody.
A lot of people want Black to kind of take Luke Harper's role, whatever they call it,
Yeah.
and put him in the Dark Order. And I think that would make sense with him.
Well, the one guy already came out and said we're not accepting applications for other leaders. We had the best leader ever.
Yeah,
He's just not
makes
with
sense.
us anymore.
And that's fair. To replace the dead guy would be kind of insensitive, possibly. But at the end of the day, you got to keep that shit going. And I think Black would be a good fit for
I think
that.
he gets lost in the shuffle.
I don't think he would.
Because
I think he'd be all right.
AEW's not structured very much different than WWE, except they have wrestlers running the show.
They have a lot more.
Just think of their
WCW like
who's
that
their
mindset.
main stars. So
Sure.
you're always going to have Kenny. He's always going to be in the spotlight.
Yep.
Cody,
Cody.
the Bucks,
That's a good bad guy, which makes no sense.
Moxley, MJF, Jericho until he decides to retire or tour.
Sure. Oh,
There's
he's touring
7
soon.
people.
Yeah.
He's touring soon.
Remember, they have 3 hours of content. Yes, I know they have a YouTube show. Nobody really
Really?
cares about
That
it.
doesn't count.
If
dude.
you put Chris Jericho's not wrestling on a YouTube show. Okay?
No, he's not.
Yes, I know
YouTube's not
Moxley went on there and won. Sorry, John. You're not. If you're John Cena, maybe somebody's gonna watch your YouTube show. No, I'm serious, but
I know.
the amount of TV time for 15 top stars. Like, if you do, great, book those 15. But you have 80 more people on the roster. You have an Orange Cassidy, who's probably your most over guy. If you listen to the fans from the last.
No, I agree with that.
You have Hangman Adam Page, Pac. What are they? The Lucha
House Brothers?
No, but
No.
that's
Lucha
AEW's
House
version,
Party?
but they can actually wrestle. Like, they have they have a lot of talent. They're just going to run into the same issue. People's going to bitch. This guy deserves better. This girl deserves better. And you don't got enough content, but you're going to have Cody, Kenny, and the Bucks, Moxley and Jericho and MJF always are going to be in the forefront. You're not going to see Dynamites where they're not featured. So what do you do with that other 2 hours of content you have when you're trying to bring up young guys? Then you're throwing Strowman in there, then Alister. Then Alister disappears for 3 weeks.
I don't think Strowman should go to AEW. I think he would be one that should go to Impact, in my opinion, because he doesn't really have a place. Like, I think Black could have a place.
I think
Strowman
some of the Strowman could be somebody that comes back later for cheaper.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's get to the because this is kind of what is WWE doing? I don't think they're just cutting money.
No.
They're not that broke.
Well,
They just made the most money they've ever made in
did.
history. They don't need to cut people.
Well, and that's when, kind of, you mentioned it, and it's been all over the internet as well.
Vince might sell.
Did you have a banner for that anywhere?
No.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I know, it's been talked about. You and the internet have been talking about it. It's a lot of rumors going around. a lot of rumors going around that WWE, including an ex-writer for the company, said, "Hell yeah, they might be wanting to sell." Disney's been looking at it. NBC, which in my opinion, I think yours makes the most sense.
Peacock. I mean, they
bought it.
They sold their whole.
They did.
They bought all of their fucking content.
And if you go back to like the 70s and 60s, NBC was already a thing, and Vince's dad did business with them back with Saturday Night
Main Events.
Yeah, Saturday Night Main Event.
Quite a bit. And they actually did one. They did one. I say present day, but it was back in I think 06 when they had
they did
their
one
last.
about 15 years ago.
Feature was when Sean. It was right before WrestleMania 22. So so NBC.
Disney makes no fucking sense.
Disney would be
It
dumb.
doesn't.
I would be pissed.
Amazon. Now watch Amazon.
Dude, that'd be
Now,
so
did you
silly.
see like what shit's selling for?
I'm
Like
sure a lot.
Amazon just bought this company that's been in existence like 9 months for $8 billion. If they're worth $8 billion, you know how much WWE's probably worth?
Yeah,
Multi-billion-dollar conglomerate's
Sure.
been in business for however, I don't even know. Yeah,
long
almost
time.
100 years, if not more. Depending, I forget how many.
Officially how it is today, I would say since the 80s, whenever Vince bought out all the territories, that's when the WWE as we know it formed. So back in the 80s, I think maybe 70s, I really don't know. But yeah, and the fact that
Rumors are they could be sold for about $20 billion.
Is that all?
That's it.
Right.
So this Nick Khan guy who's making all these cuts, because the reports are that Vince ain't doing this. Because Alister went on Twitch and said Vince loves.
No, they all
loved my creativity.
They all have positive.
He didn't want to
He
put
did.
the U.S. strap on me because he said you deserved it with fans. Which
Sure.
I think
Right.
maybe after they sell, I don't know. I just feel like this isn't the end of it. I get the jokes. They're funny. Haha, they fired people to give Brock Lesnar money. They had all these people
and John
Brock
Cena.
Lesnar.
And John
They
Cena.
also had, they were both just on WrestleMania in a pandemic.
I know, but now they got to pay him
Yeah,
again.
they do.
Let's not act like they weren't on the same roster for 20 years.
Exactly.
But it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Do you think there's more?
More cuts coming?
I seen the fake links. I saw Keith Lee,
Well, that's
Angel
not real.
Garza, Liv Morgan.
People like to try to get clicks on their bullshit, so they say dumb
There
shit.
could be. Maybe.
Let's go with the
Maybe.
positive.
But
Let's try to be positive.
well, hold on. We have to talk about I want to finish the cut conversation.
And you negative.
So, no, I don't think that they're going to sell only because I don't think Vince would sell. I think he is a psychopathic, and this isn't a bad thing. Most successful CEOs are psychopaths, but he is such a freak ownership. I need it. It's mine. I can't give it to anybody else. Psychopath that I just don't see him agreeing to a sell where he wouldn't be the all-in guy. So if he was dead, I'd be like, yeah, I could see it. But until he dies, I just don't think WWE.
He's every word you can think of. He's not going to something that he loves dearly. He's not going to let it go.
It's his life.
He's not going to let him do
What
it.
if the reports that he's burnt out? He just wants to sell, make money, but he still leaves some people there.
Sure,
because
Triple H,
reports
Stephanie
are,
Shane.
yeah, reports are that I don't know how credible, but right now everything's out there because
Everything's out there.
I feel like there's something bigger going on than just cutting. They're cutting we always do cuts
every year.
This
is
the
twice.
third time
There you
in
go.
a year because they did cut last year after Mania,
Right.
and then they just did them now again.
Right.
Mhm.
That's because they've always cut after WrestleMania. That's been their thing
But there's
for
a
years.
report that says Triple H and Heyman would run shit
Yeah.
under one of the proposed deals that could happen. Like
Yeah.
if you have an NXT on a much higher scale than what NXT is right now,
Sure.
that's going to work.
Sure.
So one positive would be if Vince gets out.
No.
Me and Yvonne heard
Right.
him busted open on the way here. Raw just had its lowest rating in the
It did.
history
Like
of Monday.
1.1 million.
1.168
Hour
third
two.
hour. And you know, it's
It was
funny.
pretty
The
bad.
third hour was the best hour.
That
Because
makes sense.
Kofi and Drew was great.
That's
I
what
watched
they
it.
Like
said,
I
yeah.
liked the third hour. And the new announce guy did really good.
He
I
did.
thought.
Yeah, I didn't hate him.
did real good.
The
He
guy
knew what he
that
was
got
talking
hurt-
about.
He did.
He's for a UFC guy. He knew his wrestling shit.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. The announcer is a big deal, and they've been doing a terrible job with these fucking announcers. But that guy was pretty good.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
And I wouldn't be against them selling just because if the product would be better. I'd
It
be
would
all
just
for
be
it.
something we
I
never
just
thought would
don't
ever
see
do.
it happening. Right. That'd be weird. All right. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that.
The one positive thing.
The power of
So
positivity.
with
Yep.
all these firings or cuts, let's be respectful. They're about to tour.
Yeah, they're about to tour. Yeah.
July 17th.
So 16 open spots on the roster. Who would you guys like to see or take those spots? So you got NXT people on the brink. You know, there's a lot of people down in NXT. So
Sure.
obviously they're going to replenish the system with NXT
More
guys.
people,
And that
sure.
new 30-something person group will probably go to NXT. They've had a few debut already.
Sure.
Who would you guys like to see move up to the main
whole
roster?
in my
Because I
head.
think Keith Lee is in the plans for that, maybe.
You think he'll come back?
He's already there, but now he can fill us. Now there's room.
Right.
Strowman, he fits that role.
He
Big
does.
guy that
Oh,
can
yeah, he
fight.
does.
Sure.
And then Ciampa's just been doing nothing.
He-
Cross just got booked in a fatal five where he doesn't have to get pinned to lose
he's
his
gonna-
belt. So Cross could
Yeah.
lose the belt and theoretically show up at SummerSlam or at the Raw
I
after
think of the whole
SummerSlam.
roster in my head.
Because I think
NXT.
Raw after SummerSlam might be like Raw after Mania. Because we're going to have fans. I think that's where we see the
Oh, a
big
big
call-ups.
Raw.
because
Yeah.
the Raw after Mania did nothing because there's
That
no
makes
fans.
sense. Yeah. That
So
would make
they
sense.
might utilize that because there'll be a live crowd.
Sure. And they're going out with SummerSlam, so that would make sense.
Yeah,
to
they're
kinda
going
do.
all. They're moving it to Saturday night. Like they're gonna
And
push
we're gonna see your girl, that WAP chick. What's her name?
Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Dude, I
Oh
know.
God, gross.
She's so gross,
It's
right?
funny.
She's gross.
She has like 5 billion fucking followers. so,
Really?
And she used to mug people for money and shit.
you know, they should team up her and Bad Bunny.
They
But anyway,
Ew, gross.
go ahead, Yvonne.
Don't
Who do you want
make-
to see on the main roster?
Don't make
Because
it worse.
specifically for you because the women's vision is
Mhm.
looking thin,
Yeah.
Some
especially
women.
on SmackDown.
Need some women up
So
there.
I'm thinking of NXT. Let's
So
see.
look at Io Shirai, who's just been chilling since
She
lost
hasn't
her
been on
belt.
TV forever. Nope. I
She
could
should
see
go back to
her
New
moving
Japan.
up.
Stop.
I could see Dakota Kai moving up because her and Raquel's about to be split, and Raquel's going to be on her own. I think Dakota Kai is going to move on, maybe, because I know they're about to be done. So I can see Kai moving up. I don't really know which show, but let's see who else.
Let's look at the NXT women.
No, there's too many. I'm gonna look and see.
Yeah, I don't know much about the NXT women. I can't because
There's
all
two-
All right, so like Mia Yim, which was Reckoning
Yeah.
and Retribution,
Yeah,
right?
there's her picture.
Becky will be back, right?
Oh,
I'm
for
assuming
sure.
Becky's not getting cut.
I'd say she's gonna be back sooner than later, probably right around SummerSlam.
I think when the fans come back
Yep.
around Money in the Bank time, she might start her program.
I would agree with that.
Um,
All day.
Nikki's back on TV, Nikki Cross. So, I mean, there's
She beat
somebody.
Charlotte, yeah.
Naomi
I like
should be
Nikki Cross.
featured more because Lana's not there with her. But Morgan's still there. Hopefully, she'll get a nice. Carmella just got featured. Her job's safe because Corey Graves works there.
Oh, please.
And they like Corey Graves, apparently.
He's
God,
probably their
look
best
at your
announcer.
girl. God.
Alexa's picture is kind of
Her
crazy
picture's
looking.
the first one. Has just
But they got tons of women.
Face.
NXT has 27 women on their roster. So there's
Jeez.
definitely some they can share,
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
including the girl that Chuck's never heard of that got released.
I've
Santana Garrett. Apparently
Santana
she's in the
Garrett.
Rumble last year, but
Oh.
I
She's all right.
forgot.
She's
Yeah,
okay,
she was one of the girls. I was like, oh, I know everybody else but her. I can't.
All right, listen. Who do you want to see up there? And not to break your heart, but Walter just got back to UK, so he will not be one of them.
That's a bummer.
He's making his big grand
I know.
debut in UK next week.
Bummer. I would say obviously Finn Balor. I think he's already on his way up.
Yep.
That's been talked about.
He's-
He's going to.
We want Fiend, Demon.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So him would obviously be a big choice. And then, you know, I hate to say these guys only because I feel like they'd probably get destroyed on the main roster because they're kind of little. But shit, what's his name? We just talked about him.
Ciampa.
I almost said Tyson Tomko, like Ciampa. Ciampa's for some reason I almost said Tyson. Wait a minute, that's like 20 years ago. Anyway, Ciampa would be great. I'd be afraid he would get ran over though. And then also the boys from Break the System. Those guys would be good.
Yeah, so like
Adam Cole and
Adam
crew.
Cole, yeah.
But I know they split up and they're kind of smaller. And I think there's a rumor that they actually are going to the main roster, at least a couple of them. But those guys would be good. They've proven that they're talented. They're proven that they can hang and go all day
Mhm.
and be entertaining while
Yeah.
at the same time doing good wrestling matches.
If you look at this fatal 5-way, so it's Cross.
Pete
I could see him losing without getting pinned and moving
Sure.
up.
Mhm.
Pete Dunne, I could see him losing and moving
Moving
up.
I don't want him up
Yeah.
though. I
I
don't like him.
love fucking.
I don't. We
love-
don't like.
People
We
do.
don't
I
like his
love
hair.
Pete
We don't
Dunne.
like his hair.
His hair
And
sucks.
then Johnny Gargano, he's staying.
He needs to stay.
Johnny Gargano can just be NXT.
Yeah.
He doesn't need. He'll get lost in the shuffle because he's a smaller dude. He deserves better. Adam Cole,
He can move
he's probably gonna stay.
on. Yeah.
I could.
He
And
said he would
Kyle
love to.
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly needs to stay for a little bit. He just now got his singles gimmick.
Big push and all that.
Like, I want to see an Undisputed Era like revival on the main roster.
Well, Fish and Roderick Strong are both just Strong quit NXT like a month ago, so I feel like he'll eventually show up.
Why did you do quit? Like, was storyline?
He quit in storyline. He quit on TV, so apparently
he went to William Regal and said, "I quit."
So Fish is doing nothing,
quit.
so they could team up and go up there.
Sure,
but there's a couple guys. So LA Knight,
I can't.
Eli Drake.
I know
from,
him.
So he's main roster ready. He's just hanging out in this funny storyline with the $1 Million Man and Cameron Grimes. So he could lose to Cameron Grimes and then
move up.
Show up
he could,
on the main roster. Nobody give a shit.
Fair.
He's ready. You got guys like that Ridge Holland guy that kind of looks like Brock Lesnar. He's ready to take. You could throw him right into the main event.
Hell yeah.
Fandango can go back up there. Or what's the group? Breezango.
They're both still there.
They need to stay there.
They were tag champs down there. They were.
We tried on the
remember how great the Fashion Files used to be?
I remember the Fashion Files.
What about your boys?
I don't think the word great should be part of that.
What if your boys, the grizzled young veterans, go to the main roster?
I don't even know who they are.
I remember you picked them like the last 2 times.
I have no idea.
I did too. You see what it did for me? Nothing.
I know.
Well, all we could say is it's going to be an interesting couple months.
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting summer.
Yeah,
it's something that it's something. It's like, holy shit, that's something's going on.
When I saw, we were talking in our group chat in Slack, and you're like, wait, are these names real? Because me and Benison are just talking about it, and you're like, hold on. I
saw it on Facebook right before you guys started talking about it. I saw it. I'm like, I don't believe that. So I didn't take it.
Yeah, you were
seriously.
like, is this real? And then you're like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought it was fake. I was like, there's no way that's real.
She texts me like, they fired Alister. I just watched Smackdown.
It was just on.
It was just on. Yeah.
All right, well,
it's crazy.
SummerSlam. That weekend, that Friday, Saturday night, I guess,
whatever
and Monday. Interesting 3-day period.
It is.
I will tell you. So SummerSlam's in August. That'll be my 2nd and 3rd PTO days I requested. I'm taking off Sunday night and Monday night.
Yeah, to watch
because
that.
I want to be able to watch NXT or watch SummerSlam, recover,
and not have
and then watch Raw. Yeah,
because
if I'm at work on Saturday night, I'm not going to see what happens.
Sure,
it's impossible.
You work the kind of job at night where you can have your phone on and watch it, or no?
You can't. Yeah, I've been on my phone during the day because I have to have it to talk to people, so I get alerts. Like that's how I found out about the cuts. Like these 8 weeks report, these 9 people just got cuts. Like holy shit! I didn't even want to look, but it's there.
Right, I understand. Yeah. That's how my phone is too. I fucking Facebook everything. What the fuck?
Well, we told you all we would talk about it. You're welcome.
Yep, that was pretty nuts. But hey, it is what it is.
And that wasn't even planned for this episode at all.
No, it just happened.
No more choo-choo.
We're going to talk about how great. I mean, I thought the Uso shit on Friday was great.
It was great. It was good.
But
let's get to it.
Let's talk to people that are still employed.
WWE Friday Night Smackdown results. I enjoyed Smackdown.
I think this was one of the best matches.
It was.
It's probably the best tag match I've seen this year.
It was good.
Keep your young buck shit to yourself, Si. Anyway.
Dude, the Young Bucks suck. I'm sorry.
So they play tomorrow. They face.
They play
God damn it! Let's try this again. I was about to say they play the Street Profits tomorrow. they face the Mysterios tomorrow for the WWE Smackdown Tag Team Championships.
And they're not going to beat the Mysterios.
And I was going to ask you because Roman does not seem pleased about this whole thing. I feel like
Roman's going to cost
his issue is he should be setting all this in motion, but Jay's doing Jimmy's doing his own thing right now.
Sure.
So we'll start with you because you already kind of alluded to it. So what do you see? Do they win? And if not, what role does Roman play?
Well, Reigns already said you went from main event Jey Uso to which one is he again? And Jey.
I like that promo too.
That is good. And Jey responded with the phrase, I had to think of it that way. And then Reigns kind of looked pissed off. I think Reigns is going to cost the Usos the match to prevent Jey from getting lost back in the opening match weird tag team shuffle. And he's going to say it as his excuse. You didn't need that. You need me. You need to stay right here. Main event Jey Uso. And that's going to lead to Reigns versus Jimmy at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. For Jay's heart, I'm sorry, it's not like that, but for the power of Jey.
Next week, I'm going to wear my Nobody's Bitch shirt.
After all, he's gonna be Roman Reigns' bitch.
We'll see how it goes tomorrow,
Yeah.
and I'll decide if I'm going to wear that or not.
There you
if
go.
he gets his ass kicked, I probably won't wear it.
Yeah, obviously Roman doesn't like it when Roman said we, he's like, you mean me and you? No, Jimmy and you. So Roman, everybody knows he's not happy about it. So Roman, I think there's going to be a time in the match where it's going to get real close where the Usos are about to win. I think Jimmy maybe gets the pin and Roman comes, his music hits and Roman just stands there, or he comes out to the ring, or he could send Paul Heyman out to the ring and
Get my cousin.
And cost Jimmy the match, and then it's just going to cost, I think, and just screw over Jimmy. I don't really think it's going to be Jay, but Roman's not happy about obviously none of it, but it's going to be bad on Jimmy.
I think Roman costs them,
Mhm.
and I think at Hell in a Cell it's Jimmy versus Jay.
Could be too.
That-
I
yeah,
kind
I
of thought
think
about
that.
Roman
that.
Could be
sits
too.
out
I
like,
kinda thought
listen,
about that.
prove to me you have my back.
Which
I want
one of
you
you
to
is
go
which-
into Hell in a Cell and beat your brother's ass like I did yours last year.
Right, I could see that too. I kind of thought about that. It's like I could see it being Uso versus Uso because of
And
Reigns.
then Reigns and Jay beat the living hell out
Out
of,
of each other.
out of Jimmy, and then Jimmy joins the Bloodline. And then at SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, whatever the fuck,
Sure.
you could probably, because I could see Jay get thrown in Money in the Bank and win.
Mhm.
You could
Yeah.
probably put the Usos in and
Yeah.
have one of them win and just have that lingering for a little while too.
Sure.
But SummerSlam feels like that would be the time where they would win the belts, not Hell in a Cell
Yeah, I could see Jimmy
or
and Jay
Money in the
face each
Bank.
other.
I feel like they'd want to do Money in the Bank's gonna have a crowd though, isn't it?
I think so.
They're gonna have to spread some shit out. They can't do all their big shit
They
just because the
can't,
fans are
uh-uh.
back.
I think
one
Money
night.
in the Bank is the first pay-per-view with fans back. I think. I think that sounds
God
right.
damn it, Archie.
Good job, Archie. I was just reading that. Good job, Archie.
Josh, we at the Buzz know how much you love The Rock. What are your thoughts of him returning to now? If there was somebody they'd have to pay enough where they have their roster, it'd be the most overrated actor, wrestler, and entertainer in the history
Listen to
of
disrespect.
entertainment.
Dude, I know.
Archie, you
It's-
should say Charlotte next
His
time. when you
Tooth
type
Fairy
that.
movie was so bad. Children no longer put teeth under their pillows. They
The-
just chuck them in the
The
garbage. and
game
say,
plan with
I don't
him was
even want
good. Okay,
the
shut
dollar.
up.
The
You
Fast
should-
and Furious said, we are done with this bullshit. We've seen the light. We saw it at WrestleMania twice. There's a bigger star.
Oh,
you can
there
see
we
him
go.
sometimes, but you can see him in theaters in a month when he revises what's already been a destroyed franchise since Fast Furious
Here
3.
we go. The
But it's
disrespect
back.
of the Rock.
Bigger and better. Not in China, but in the United
Oh
States
my
of
gosh.
America.
Hashtag
John Cena's
Josh's
back to
rant.
save WWE and back to save fat ass bitches, fast cars.
Fat ass bitches. Who's a fat ass in Fast and
This
Furious?
is bitches with the fat ass and the Fast Furious.
There's
dancing on
no
the cars.
fat ass bitch in the
That's
Fast and
what there
Furious.
is. There's
Oh
chicks on
my
cars,
God.
fast cars,
For someone that doesn't
money,
like Fast and Furious, you pay
hip
attention
hop.
awfully a
So
lot.
when you think of hip hop, John Cena, rap album,
Here we go.
That's what you have to think about.
badass bitches,
John Cena.
John
You see
Cena.
what I mean?
money, John
I
Cena.
think you're the Machine Gun Kelly to the Rock's Eminem.
No, I didn't diss him.
Well,
I'm more like a stan.
you should be thanking The Rock every day that he allows you to watch The Rock show Friday Night Smackdown.
Archie.
And
next-
Archie,
Yeah,
I
Archie.
want you to know it's okay the Maple Leafs choked in the playoffs. There's always next year. Oh, wait, maybe there's not because they threw it all into 1 year.
I just don't understand how the Maple Leafs is a name. That's like a fucking breakfast.
You know, it's funny.
I don't understand.
Completely off topic. So I was talking to my buddy Anthony
Oh
the
my
other day,
God.
and we were talking about like what's the stupidest sport? And we were talking, he was like volleyball, and I was like, give me hockey. I was like, just think about it,
Or
okay?
golf.
Back when they could fight, I enjoyed watching some hockey. I enjoy the fights. Now they can't fight. But if you break a bone, you just lay on the ice for 10 minutes and you're good, right?
Like
But
LeBron
if-
James.
But if you start fighting, they literally put you in a box for 10 minutes. Like they put you in timeout.
Literally.
And then it's like, Benison, you ain't getting off either. You start fighting in soccer when you're running around in a field. They start throwing Uno cards at you, and then you have to go set in time. Hockey is figure skating with sticks with timeout. So it's literally no different than skate. Like if, you know, in Ohio, we have skateway, which is roller skates. If it's like an ice
I don't know what
rink,
skateway is.
It's not that
It's a
great.
roller skating
It's not that
Oh,
It's not that great. Don't let him brag about it. Ain't
But
that
anyway.
great.
you know who probably he couldn't make it in football, but I bet The Rock could make it in hockey.
Oh my God. That's the first compliment.
If he
you
missed
said.
his precious little elbow, that he'd be already be on
First
the ice.
of all, he did make it in football. He just broke his leg or something. He played in Florida. He played.
People's
in
broke legs before and came back.
He went on to make more money.
Tom Brady blew his whole
There
knee
we
out.
go.
He's won 5 Super
John
Bowls
Rock-
Cena
since.
to Tom
The Rock is
Brady.
above football. He went on to be the most electrifying man in all of sports and entertainment.
The
I don't-
great one.
Everything.
Did you
Great
Sports
see
and
a
entertainment.
couple weeks ago where he said he didn't even come up with SmackDown's name?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that article.
I never clicked on it to see.
See, and I saw that, and it pissed me off because I heard a story where The Rock said he told Vince McMahon, "Hey, I'm going to go lay some SmackDown tonight." And Vince was like, "What's that?" He's like, "You'll see." And that's how the
Yeah,
story.
so like, one
So
of
is he lying about his fucking catchphrases? That's bullshit. Like, I hate people who like copy people's shit and then act like it's theirs. It drives me insane. That's why I fucking hate FTR because they try to steal everybody else's stuff.
Josh wants to go around and say he's the great
And
one,
if The
so
Rock
we know
did that, it's going to make me upset a little bit if he's stealing people's catchphrases and claiming it as his own.
Archie,
But,
and also, besides Josh loving The Rock, we all know he loves Charlotte, so you can also
Woo!
type something of that.
dude, she
we
was
know.
looking good this past week.
Josh
on
thought-
Raw.
Josh thought
Stop,
so.
dude.
She got some kind of work done because her face no longer looks
Josh
like
thought
plastic.
so too. So
Yeah, I bet. She's been pretty good in her Uno stuff.
okay, I can make funny for
All right, you guys-
Naomi too. So.
I'm gonna figure out.
Shit. Figure out what?
And I regret not clicking on that article
Oh,
So you-
yeah.
you
because
say
now I
your-
can't find it.
You say her name, he gets so
All
distracted.
right, what the hell else
don't
are we
you?
talking
Yeah,
about?
it's just one of them things.
Archie, go fucking watch real hockey teams that are still in the playoffs. Leave us alone.
We love you, Archie.
Oh, you know what's funny? We were talking about this. You know who they lost to? The Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, man.
So I asked Archie, I was like, aren't they all
The
Canadian?
Montreal Canadiens.
Like it's like our NFL team being called the Cincinnati white people. Like
The Cincinnati Americans.
White people.
Like-
What's
that's so fucking
the
stupid.
Patriot, the New
So
England,
white people.
yeah, US. I don't fucking know. I lost
New
it.
England or whites or something.
All right. Anyway, speaking of the military,
Sure,
Apollo
leave that
Crews.
roll.
Oh no, Apollo.
Chuck's favorite, Apollo Crews.
And his annoying gimmick.
Well,
Yeah,
so we have
it's
2
ridiculous.
title matches tomorrow.
That's yeah. They
Yeah.
love the SmackDown's up.
KO got his ass kicked by the Zaz guy last
He didn't
week.
get his ass kicked. He got hit in the throat once, and then really sold it.
He was choking about an hour later. So KO
really sold it.
fights Apollo tomorrow. Any chance KO wins the title?
Not
tonight?
even a little bit.
So no title changes tomorrow.
No.
They're just there to get you to watch
Which
it.
one do you think's more likely?
This one.
Do you think this is more likely to change than the USO one?
I don't think it is though.
You know what's funny? What if Roman comes out and helps them? Is like I told you, or like they're about to lose,
That could be
and
true.
Roman
Could.
Superman punches Ray,
Could.
and
That
he's
could be
like,
fun.
and that's when when Jimmy's like, okay, you do have our back.
That could be. That'd be a fun twist. I think. I doubt it, but it'd be a fun. I would like it if they did
Yeah.
that. That'd be a good way to
It'd
go.
be too creative.
It would be.
Because Roman.
You can't have that in
What the hell is
WWE.
Seth doing?
He ain't doing
Seth
it.
didn't do much last
He
week
didn't
except
do
scream
nothing.
it's my birthday.
Jumping
and-
Cesaro still, I think.
No, he came out, screamed it's his birthday,
Yeah.
talked about Cesaro, then went to the back.
And left.
Did you see the Young Bucks wore his same suit?
He did.
Like, Jesus Christ. I can't deal.
Yeah,
But
Young
yeah,
Bucks are worthless.
I could see Roman, like you said, maybe help. I didn't think of that. Maybe because Roman
'Cause
wants
we're all
him.
expecting him to cost them, right?
Yeah.
SmackDown has
Yeah.
been not as predictable as everything else.
Mhm.
I still can't believe Raw and SmackDown are booked by the same company.
I know, right? It's unreal. I would like that. I would like Reigns helping Jimmy to win the titles. I just don't think it will, but it'd be awesome if it did.
Roman wants him to acknowledge him. This is the way to go. For Roman to help like he did Jay, this is the way to do it. Help Jimmy so he can have Roman's trust and Paul Heyman's trust, like Jimmy does or Jay does. So
Hell yeah.
could happen.
We have to talk about Raw.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Every time I see it, I'm like, fuck.
There's one thing that was always good on.
My favorite part is that WWE Raw this week had like a 1.1 million, which is terrible.
That is terrible.
Like that's like AEW's numbers when they're good.
Mhm.
Like it makes it's like what Raw should be a powerhouse. Back in the day, it was getting 8-9 million live. Now we're at 1.1
that's terrible.
million, and there's a reason for that. And let's just get into it here. So Drew defeated Kofi and will face Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship. Here's one reason why Raw was so bad this past Monday night. Nobody gives a shit about Bobby Lashley as champion. I know that's probably a minority statement to say, but he's a terrible WWE champion, Bobby Lashley.
Well, it's building towards what we wanted.
Sure, but that's not really a good plan in my opinion. I know people say they wanted that match. and they're making it happen. But because of that, we're getting these really bad numbers, and Lashley just can't hold that title, even with MVP and all these weird hookers he dances with. It's still not entertaining to watch.
Well, I don't blame Lashley for the low ratings been going on for a while.
Maybe it's like what I say about Raw all the time. It's the rewind show. We see the same stuff every week, but with different people.
I don't
maybe they're sick of it every week.
And McIntyre's boring these days too.
He's in every main event.
And they're not bad people, but we're seeing the same shit over and over.
We knew this is what we said, I think, 2 weeks ago, that we're going to just get repetitive shit till the fans come. They're not going to throw any other great.
We're still at.
You're not going to see any great content until the fans come back.
You said that. You're right. But we're just spinning our wheels.
How long do we have? End of June?
About a month and a week.
So like 5 more weeks, 4 or 5 more weeks. So it's going to be like this until then. That's what I expect.
You're right.
They're in the Thunderdome till like July something.
July 17th is the first day fans come back.
Yeah, and it's in Texas on a Smackdown, right? I think it's funny how Cleveland gets the second week.
Fucking Cleveland.
Like Cincinnati motherfuckers. Like
Cincinnati's got to be more profitable.
The Reds have won just as many World Series as the Indians in the last 20 years.
Yeah, man.
So,
and like Cincinnati is right on the river. It's right. Kentucky's right there. Like,
it's a great venue.
Everything is so close. Cleveland. There's nothing in Cleveland.
Nothing.
You want to see Cleveland? Heroin. That's in Cleveland. What are we doing?
Whoa, that's also in Middletown where I grew up.
Well, yeah, but it's funnier to say.
Don't put me in that category. I grew up there.
It's here as well, but still,
fuck
Cleveland. That's what I'm trying to get to.
This was a good match.
This was a really good match, and it's funny. This gets the 1.1.
Yeah,
I think it's because people are just burnt out. They watch Cedric and Shelton for the 100th time.
Done.
AJ and Omos against a lot. Like nobody cared.
No,
and that was a random breakup.
And like I said, it's the same stuff we see every week. Change it up every week.
The best thing that happened this week was this match. And Orton using Riddle's move to win.
RK Bro, as always.
Marking out. Like, oh my God. He's so happy.
I got to see that statement, though, because you said that was the best thing. I would say the other best thing was the New Day's fucking Power Ranger attire. That was awesome. I want that outfit. The Green Ranger and the White Power Ranger. You know what Power Rangers?
No.
I didn't particularly care about either of those two.
Have you seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yeah, Did you grow up on Power Rangers?
And you didn't like those costumes? They were lit.
Okay, they're just the wrong Power Rangers.
They were lit. What Power Rangers did you like?
Red and pink.
I like the pink one.
No, Tommy was the coolest. And he was both green and white. Yeah, she was not my first crush. But I thought that outfit was legit. So that was one of the best things about Raw was their fucking Power Ranger attire.
Well, Xavier lost in that attire.
Yeah, you're having Randy. Well, he was the White Ranger, and sometimes just get the White Ranger's ass.
What the heck's the name of his move,
Bro? Derek. I had to look it up.
What kind of name is that?
That's Riddle's last name. I feel like he has a best friend named Derek. That's his bro, so that's how.
That's a very specific finisher.
That's honestly probably how Riddle would pick up. Like I could see him. Like
I could too.
Bro, Derek. You're my bro, named Derek. I'm going to do this suplex into a face cruncher, and I'm going to name it Bro Derek. Hey, Vince, bro, don't fire me, but will you please, can I use this? Cool, bro. See you Monday.
Hell yeah.
Don't forget your lines, bitch.
Again.
Or you'll be next.
Right. Yeah, like Randy Orton, his finisher is his initials in his name. That's pretty cool.
So we still think they're getting, I seen AJ called them. He didn't call them out on Raw Talk. He was just like, those are the two we're waiting on to step up to us.
That'd be good.
So you still think they need to save that for like a SummerSlam too?
I would say save it.
Like Usos, Mysterio, Styles, and Omos versus RK Bro.
If not SummerSlam, at least in person. It's like Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But you have to have fans for that one. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you put the straps on, do you see their merch?
I haven't.
I'm kind of disappointed with what they did with it.
Nah, he'll have
I haven't seen it.
I'll show it to you after the show. It's not
fun.
They literally took their original merch and just added each other's like logo to it.
So
there's a scooter on one. It's kind of cool.
God.
When are we going to see Randy Orton finally do his pose behind Riddle's pose? They're teasing
when we get
that.
Fans.
They're teasing that.
I think we're gonna gradually get a build. I think for the next few weeks we get a few backstage segments. Unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna do shit at Hell in a Cell except maybe have another match where they win.
Yeah.
Like they'll get number one contenders for like Money in the Bank or something, because they're going to drag out to the live fans.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing Randy Orton use that finisher. It's like we're seeing a whole new Randy Orton this year in 2021, and it's just as good as 2020.
Had a great 2-year run too.
He's sticking. He's going strong still.
Randy Orton.
I mean, he had like a 10-year.
Let's not forget, he kicked Matt Hardy into AEW. He
All
kicked
three of
Christian
them.
into
He
AEW.
did.
Mark Henry
He
into
did.
AEW.
And Big
And
Show.
Big Show in
So
AEW.
he kicked all 4 people.
At one point, he kicked Braun Strowman in the
He
head.
did,
Probably. Yeah.
Who has an Orton kicked
So,
in the head?
that's a good
Not
point.
yet.
Randy Orton, Tony Khan, you write some checks.
Kicking.
Give Randy one because he has traded half your card.
Kicking them all away.
And love Mark Henry.
Sure.
Don't see the big deal.
I don't.
Well,
I mean, now they have 39 backstage
he's not
coaches.
there. Yeah, I mean, he's not there.
but
as a
how many
wrestler.
coaches do they need? Now they're going to have one a
I
person.
thought he used to make an announcer or something.
He's going to be an announcer on that show on Friday. Nobody
Sure.
watches.
Well, that's still good to have somebody like that on there. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
I thought the Big Show was here for that.
You have 2 people doing it. You can't have to.
And Arn
You
Anderson.
can't talk to yourself.
Arn Anderson's not
Anderson.
coaching Cody anymore.
Arn Anderson can't talk.
They did get rid of that.
They did.
Did they have to-
He doesn't have
They
the Denny's menu like Cody. You want to beat him 1, 2, 3.
That was so dumb.
Too many coaches.
All right. Speaking of, I'm interested to get your take on this because I know how you feel about Alexa.
Oh
Ooh.
God.
So Shayna lost to Reginald, which is probably when a bunch of people turned their televisions off and the ratings started plummeting.
Dude, I watched. It was so
But
fucking
then
dumb.
Alexa got interrupted by Shayna. She said the doll was dumb. They said they're going to see each other next week, which I think is being advertised as a match.
That's fun.
So where does this go? Because Alexa's not losing this feud.
I really
And
have
what
no
the
idea.
fuck's going to happen? So is this? Do you think she's going to have like Fiend type shit where everybody she has feuds
Changes.
with, they change? Like Shayna suddenly goes babyface and then gets what she's deserved, which is a good push, which now they need because they have no women left because they just
Mhm.
fired all of them.
They did.
Or do you think they just feed Shayna to Alexa and here we go?
Probably that. I don't think
Remember
they're
a year
gonna.
ago she was at Mania and we were bitching she didn't beat Becky
Yeah,
after she
No.
beat every woman in the chamber by herself.
She's pretty much done. She got with that Nia Jax bullshit, which is probably done now too. She just didn't get treated the right way. I don't know what it is.
That's an NXT talent wasted.
I honestly never saw the big deal in Shayna Baszler. Just she's one that like she had the look, but anytime she talked, it was like
she
AJ
was
Styles.
so over. in
She
NXT.
was.
That
But they didn't
She
have
was,
her talk.
yeah.
They had that little group she ran with, which
They told
Yeah.
Rousey, I don't know if she's pregnant or not. But
She is
I think
pregnant.
that
She is.
derailed everything they had
She's
planned because they
actually
released
pregnant,
out Jessica Duke girl that was part of that group.
Oh yeah.
So like they don't even have the 4 horsewomen of MMA on the roster now.
That's
Thanks,
pitiful.
you fucked up my article from our WrestleMania prediction.
So Josh,
I
that's the
ain't
thing.
predicted. Edit.
Guy, and the one
Retract.
comment I got, the dude said that's not happening,
Well, fuck that guy.
and I asked him where his website was.
So I was Monday. If you paid attention to the last 2 weeks of Raw when Baszler was involved in a match, we seen the fire shooting out of the ring, and it was I think it's because Alexa sending a message,
Absolutely.
and and Baszler was the only one in the ring, and she was standing tall every time that happened. Now Baszler's interrupting her. I think Alexa's going after Baszler.
I'm gonna go optimistic and say Alexa's gonna win, but Baylor changes for the good, beats Nia's ass in a feud, which is automatically gonna make her a face,
Sure.
and then they hopefully run with her for a little.
Bring the
while.
old Shayna Baszler back. That's
Yeah.
Have her break Charlotte's fucking leg.
Hey,
wow.
Charlotte's leg can't be broken. That's how strong it is.
She's running the women's division.
Did you
I'm
see
sorry, but it's
Andrade suplex Ric Flair in the pool?
swimming.
I
pool.
did not.
That went like viral the other
They
day.
I
get
didn't see
it.
it.
Charlotte's
Flair, it's like Flair taking bumps.
It just was-
They get
He got
along so
suplex
well.
in a pool.
That's awesome.
They get along so well.
I think it was Monday morning.
I wonder how long they're gonna be together until they break up, though.
Wow.
Because
It's been a while. They're engaged.
They
Are
are.
they?
They've been together for a while.
that's
They
cool.
have.
Hopefully they make it. I like them. I dig it.
Josh,
Speaking of people
Josh
you like.
wants him to make it, don't you?
Your boy in Omos can retain the titles. Elias turned on a Riker, which I guess makes him a baby.
I called that. I said that Monday.
Do we
like it's
care?
done.
Why is Riker still
I
around?
thought,
Yeah.
honestly, I thought when this Riker would be out like Wednesday with the.
he should have been.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I
should
feel
have
like
been, yeah.
if the other two of his dudes got let go, he should have.
He should have
the
been
one that
added,
stirred up
yeah.
all that shit.
I agree.
He
He's a
did.
joke.
But now they're talking about having a one-on-one match on Raw, and they're going to feud now.
Nobody cares.
Which Elias don't need anybody with
He doesn't,
him. He
no.
gets over on his own.
he needs
So
to
he's
get in
great
better
on his
feuds,
own,
dude.
yeah.
He needs to get in better
his
segments.
best feud was when he got put over Lashley in that feud. Like he
Mm-hmm.
won the match, but then Lashley bashed his head in with the guitar that it was a guitar in the
Yeah.
whole match or some shit. And Elias won,
Hey,
and Lashley took it off out of his hand and bashed him with
Your
it.
poor guy.
Because Lashley lost, but he got the last laugh. So did he?
And
lose?
Elias was
Sure.
electrocuted twice.
Yeah,
He was twice.
he has 2 top 5 albums. I
And
don't
he's
know.
been electrocuted.
Dude, it's sad.
He's
I
a pimp.
can't.
Poor Elias.
I can't even enjoy
Watching him anymore.
I like
They don't
Omos
do-
a lot.
So do I.
I like AJ Styles a lot, which I never thought I'd say. You guys know how I feel about Elias.
Dude, yeah.
Elias is a
I
hard
know.
watch.
It is. It is hard. Yeah.
Riker's a hard watch. Riker
It's-
shouldn't be employed by WWE.
It's
He shouldn't,
almost like sell. Fucking sell. How much worse can it get?
It couldn't
A
get
fresh
worse.
set of eyes could help.
Just don't sell it to Disney, please.
I
I
you know
love
what
Disney, but no,
I
don't be
always think,
sold.
like, what does Triple H? I know he can't do anything.
Well, what
about
does
it, but
he
you think
think?
Vince ever
Yeah.
like, hey, remember that guy that was NXT champion? I'm gonna change his first name to Robert, rip him away from his glorious entrance, and put him in a tag.
You
Yeah.
give him
Yeah.
porn stash. It's like
Yeah.
think
You know
about
how over glorious would be?
yeah.
It
And
would,
with
yeah.
returning, no, it's funny. They always have it in their back pocket. Like, yeah, Robert, when you and Ziggler,
Mhm.
we'll give you
Do
your
break
glorious
up.
music back.
Yeah.
And like Shinsuke, like now his music's badass because he has
Yeah.
that fucking dude playing him down the
The
ramp.
Yeah.
Elias electric version, yeah.
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 Elias' twin brother.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Elias
Though. You
is-
brought up a good point. What does Triple H think? That guy
He
puts
has to be
his
pissed.
heart and soul into this
He
business
does.
all day and all night.
He brought these guys up from signing in their little,
Sure.
the gray shirts say Performance Center
Yeah.
to champion
Sure.
to you're fired.
Like,
and then they show up.
right,
You know how
yeah.
pissed he has to feel when he's going head to head with AEW, which I feel like they don't care as much as people think, but I think they care some. I don't think they're like, oh my God, we have to beat them or fuck. I think they do care because they didn't move the show to Wednesday.
Mhm.
But how pissed does he have to get? So I told her, Yvonne this, the first match at the last pay-per-view for AEW, Double or Nothing, I think, is the one that just happened. You see, the first person that got entered into the Casino Battle Royal was Leo Rush,
Yep,
who was
Leo
in the
Rush.
first ever NXT match when they started going head-to-head, and he won.
He did.
He was NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Sitting there like, God damn it, Dad. Like, this guy, you cut him
Yep.
for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Now he's in AEW, now he's in New Japan, but he's working
I
with
got
multiple.
both.
It's like, you know how pissed Triple H has to get? Like, I
Yeah,
brought
I
these
bet.
guys
But seriously,
along.
think about it though. He is up probably 18 hours a day, just working his ass
He
off.
has multiple children.
Right. Like
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
he's given up everything. He's basically Vince Jr. at this point from how
He
hard
is.
he works. I saw a documentary
Except
a
he
while
does
back.
his job well.
Sure. I saw a documentary a while back about what his daily day-to-day routine is, and it sounds exhausting. And then
7 days.
and every day he just has to deal with that bullshit.
He does.
Literally, like you said, makes this guy a star, puts him out there, it's gone. Like
His
what?
endeavors.
Like what
Like
the
his
fuck?
potential
Like,
meant
you look
nothing.
at
Like,
Keith Lee,
it's just
who
exhausting.
Keith Lee had
Yeah.
no reason to be caught up if this is what you're going to. I don't want to say hopefully he's hurt because that's. I hope
We know,
he's
Fine.
we
fine.
know what you mean.
But like,
we,
I
we know
hope,
what you mean.
I hope that it's not. We don't have nothing for you, and like he's got
You're just sitting at
a
home
sprained
doing
ankle
nothing.
or something
That's
that he can come
stupid.
back from.
It just sounds exhausting. Like, at a certain point, it's just like, why am I even doing this? Why would I even care?
Why would you sign with this company?
Right. Seriously.
Right,
And that's
yeah.
why like the reports that Cole doesn't
What do
go
you think
up.
NXT? I'm thinking about like a Cameron Grimes or an LA Knight that they're relatively new. It's like,
Mhm.
why do I want to go to the main roster?
Seriously.
Like if I don't
Just end up fired.
appease Vince that quick, they'll just fire me and
To get
sign
treated,
another guy.
To get
Right.
treated differently, like
It
It's
ended
gonna-
up in
it's gonna be
AEW.
an interesting couple months.
It's just one of those
Yeah.
things. Like Vince really, I mean, I hate it because we see it all over the internet. Vince sucks. Vince blah 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 blah. I hate to be another Vince sucks guy, but it gets to the point. There's a common denominator in all of this, and that common denominator is Vince.
Mhm.
So the dude is out of touch, and I think the dude really needs to not surround himself with yes men and surround himself with people who want the product to be better
Yep.
than what it is. And you
Wait,
should always want
yep.
to be better, even if you're good. You want to be better. And I don't
Right.
think Vince wants that. Vince wants to be on autopilot and just
Yeah.
go. And it's not working. And it hasn't been for a
quit
long
changing
time.
things. Leave it the way it is. And if you don't like it in a couple months, then change it. Quit changing everything.
Yeah, sell.
Triple H wouldn't.
Not to Disney.
I
Yeah.
honestly hope
Yeah.
they sell. And it's
Yeah.
like it's like Disney and ESPN are like ESPN isn't happy with WWE
Fuck ESPN.
because
Who cares?
ESPN wanted that library and they sold it to Peacock. So I feel like it's gonna be NBC or Amazon.
I would
It's gonna be
agree.
one of those two.
Yeah,
Because
one of
Amazon
those
bought
two.
a part, bought Thursday night. Like Amazon's just bought a part of the NFL, not a part of
I
it. But
gotcha.
they got Thursday night football on Amazon. So Amazon's
Working
taking
with
over
them.
the fucking world. If people haven't seen, Amazon's kind of a big deal now.
I remember
Yeah,
when
it is.
Amazon just sold books.
Yeah, now they
Now they
bring
do all this crap.
groceries same day.
Right.
They sell everything.
I hope they sell. I want a new
Yeah.
fresh of eyes, and I want
I do
this
too.
Nick Khan guy. If his goal is to clear it out, sell it, then bring in another set of eyes, And then they're like, listen, we want Triple H and Paul Heyman and this guy to run it because
There we go.
Triple H, Paul, and Shane, I think would be perfect three people to run it.
Absolutely.
Vince can enjoy his $20 billion that he makes off of it.
Taking vacations.
Go eat his medium rare steak on an island somewhere.
And
with ketchup.
And then he's good to go. And then we'll have
That's
it'd
the
be
thing,
like
though.
WWE restarting.
That's the thing, though. I don't think Vince could do that. It's been Triple H and
How
Jericho.
old is he now?
Jericho and Triple H
like-
have both said it. The guy says he can't take breaks or vacations. He's just always going. And I don't think retiring.
75 years old.
Yeah, he's an old man. I don't think retiring
He's older than Ric Flair.
is something that he could do.
Is it really?
It's not in his brain to stop going.
Shane's 51.
So
we'll see.
his mom lived in his mom's still alive too. His mom's in her 90s and she's still kicking. So I just don't think
We
Vince
just gotta believe
can
it
leave.
to see it when it
I
happens.
don't think so.
I don't know at this point.
Unless
summer,
unless in the contract when he sells has something to say that I'm still in charge, and then I can maybe see it.
nobody's going to buy a company where they don't get to make the call.
Exactly.
They're basically
Exactly.
giving you $10 billion to
have their
be your
name.
bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I agree with that. So that's what I don't see it happening.
I
So
don't
it's
know.
going to be, it's funny. I brought this up kind of like not even joking, like, could this happen? And then you see all these reports, like a lot of people believe that's
They
what's
do.
happening.
Believe
like
that.
business people are like, this is
They
how
do.
It's
companies
all over
work.
the internet.
I'm in the
It's
middle.
gonna
I have
be-
to believe it.
I'll tell
I have to
you,
see it to believe
With
it.
fans coming back, I still don't consider AEW legit competition. Let's just say they have a little momentum behind them.
They're
Granted-
not competition. Another
granted,
wrestling company. Is
I
what it
mean,
is.
to be fair, for all the people that say they have so much momentum, they did 500,000 people on Friday, and they sold 150,000 pay-per-views, which is impressive. This day and age where I can probably get on Google and find a live stream
Yeah.
for free.
It's hard to make money
But
these days.
your biggest shows, so your go-home show before your pay-per-view, and your pay-per-view did 650K. By comparison, I haven't seen NXT's rating from this week. I'll check it, but I guarantee it's probably more than 650. So let's not act like they're burning the world. Now, the fact that Raw just did a 1.68 and Dynamite did a 1.3 not too long ago,
Yep.
that's telling.
That's rough.
Mhm.
That's
So,
rough for Raw.
it's gonna be an
for
interesting-
the powerhouse show.
With all these free agents probably showing, they're going to show up at what? Tonight on Impact, a former WWE star, they're advertising it as such, will be on Impact tonight. I think it's Mojo Rawley.
Oh god.
Because he only had a 30-day clause in his contract.
Or I should
Remember his one win at WrestleMania?
because of
Because of
Gronk.
Gronk.
That's
Like what the fuck?
I was just thinking one thing when we were talking about Roman and the Usos. Remembering that promo between the Street Profits and the Usos. Street Profits said a lot of crap about Roman. To me, I think Roman could come out and just cost the whole match because the Street Profits did say some crap about
Street
Roman.
Profits aren't fighting them, though.
I know, but they had some words back at Roman a little bit
No,
about the Usos.
you're backtracking with that statement. What the hell?
Yeah.
I forget what I was about to Google. You threw me off.
Oh, excuse me.
You're so 3 segments ago.
Well, I'm just saying.
It could be. I don't think that would happen, but maybe. Who
Could.
knows? It's WWE. Who knows? Oh, but yeah, Raw sucks.
It didn't come to mind at first. Though. It did.
WWE NXT Breakdown. I didn't watch NXT, so I don't have much to attest
They
to.
basically announced some matches. So
Yeah.
next week we'll pick
Yep.
the Fatal Five, like we alluded to. Cross. They had a triple threat match. It was done. Gargano and I was pissed. It was a great match. Of course, Cole comes out and beats everybody's ass and runs off.
Poor Regal.
Regal was fucking.
It was
dude,
hilarious.
So
I
William
love
Regal
Regal.
It was
was.
hilarious.
Dude, he was the first 45 minutes. He's
You would love
tripping
that
out.
part.
Like he runs down with a bunch of refs. Like
He-
Adam, stop. Adam's like, okay. Then he super kicks everybody again. Then he leaves. Then he super kicked Kyle Wright. And Regal's like, what the fuck?
He's
dude?
trying
Come
to
on.
get him off the
And
apron.
then as
Regal's
soon
like,
as
don't
Regal
do it.
goes to the back, Ember Moon runs out and is like, Raquel, I'm going to beat your ass. Come out here and fight me. Dakota Kai jumps her. Here comes Regal again with the refs. Like, what the fuck you guys doing?
You have to look that. That was
And then
hilarious.
backstage,
Regal.
Gargano's like pissed off, bitching. And Regal's like, what the fuck do you want? So
They're all-
Regal had a rough hour.
They're all
Poor guy.
in the
My dad's like, look how fucking pumped Regal is. He's like, William Regal's still
Just
around.
alive.
He actually looks good.
Yeah, he
I tell you,
does.
he looks like they've hinted at Adam Cole versus William Regal match.
Yeah, I can see
multiple
that, yeah.
times because Cole keeps saying, I'll beat your ass. And Regal's like, you don't want to test me.
Dude, I'm sad that he's not. Like he was awesome back in the Attitude.
See,
Regal,
everything
yeah.
NXT does
Yeah.
makes sense, and it's better. They have the best announce team.
Sure.
They got the
Absolutely.
best GM, best storylines, and they all see. Going back to Triple H real quick, they have the best takeovers. Are typically the best pay-per-views, which is Triple H's hard work coming to fruition.
Sure.
Which makes him like happy. Then he sees all his main event stars go to Brawl,
And they
end up
all-
on WWE main event,
or,
they get fired.
or AEW.
Yeah.
so
That was
it's,
so entertaining.
But yeah,
Poor
Cameron
William
Grimes
Regal.
is fighting LA Knight. We think this might be the end for Cross. We'll tell you guys next week because we'll do predictions for that.
Hell
LA
yeah.
Knight and Cameron Grimes are kind of fighting for the affection of Ted DiBiase right now.
$1 million man.
He was going to manage one of these guys.
Sure.
So we'll see which one it is. Ember Moon, which you remember her from her main roster run.
I remember
She's
her.
fighting Raquel Gonzalez.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
I never got into her either. She was one that I thought was kind of.
And
She's still
Zia Lee's kind of nuts,
she is,
but she's
I
fighting
like her,
Mercedes Martinez, who she's trying to recruit to be in her stable.
That'd be cool.
So
Oh, yeah.
that's it so far. I think Bronson Reed versus Swerve. Isaiah Swerve Scott, I think, is going to be a thing. There's a couple matches that could, or Santos Escobar as well. They'll add some, they'll have 6 matches.
The women tag team
hour.
titles,
Sure.
I don't know who they're
So,
going to face yet either.
That's about it for NXT.
For right now.
So this was Chuck's week to pick the top 5
was.
topic.
Oh yeah.
It was his turn, yeah.
And of course, you picked this, and one of your favorite guys of all time, unfortunately, made my top 5.
Hell yeah.
And I never thought he'd be on it.
Mine also.
But it's your
mine
fault
too.
that he made it because
Yeah.
I would have never known who this guy was if it wasn't for you telling me about him
Yeah.
for about 10 years before he even came.
Dude, it was crazy.
Like, you told me about him way before. There was even back when you told me about him, you're just like, yeah, you'll never see him in WWE.
I was very surprised. Who's
Yeah.
starting this bad boy?
I don't
I'll start. I teased it enough, so.
Let's do it.
And mine's obvious if you know Chuck.
know. Oh.
AJ Styles
Yeah,
at
man.
16.
Yeah, that's what,
I remember your like 40-page text after like, I never thought it would happen! Exclamation marks.
Dude, I just watched him on OVW that Friday. And
So that was his farewell,
or,
and then he
I'm sorry, not OVW. That's old. Ring of Honor.
so he did his farewell match and ended up
Right.
on.
Like,
There
yeah.
was reports that somebody was backstage because
Right.
we read. I try
Yeah.
not to, but I
Sure.
read the dirt sheets, and it's
I
like,
remember that.
especially Rumble, because you always
You have
at the
to.
Rumble. There's always a
I love the
1,000
Rumbles.
rumors.
Sure.
I love the Rumbles.
Edge was coming back the last 15 years. And finally did.
Finally did it.
I was so
Unexpected.
excited. I was very excited.
Chuck's
to see
fault I knew who the guy was.
He had longer hair than I thought.
You know,
Back then-
when he comes out, I'm like, this is John Cena of the. Technically,
Yeah.
Impact's not, or it's my bad. TNA.
no, he was
It's
the John
not
Cena.
independent, but I kind of viewed
Sure.
him that way because
Mhm.
he kind of, I think TNA let him bounce around a little bit as well.
It could be. I don't know.
Because he
I've watched
fought
him
like
too.
Adam Cole and Seth Rollins, all these guys. He's been
Mhm.
around. He was the
Ring of
guy
Honor-
in
Ring of Honor.
TNA when TNA was legit.
Dude, he made.
Was
TNA
he
legit.
there when TNA tried to challenge Raw
Mhm. He was.
and they failed because of
Yeah,
Hogan and
that's right when I stopped watching, and yeah, he was there at that time, and he was actually a tag team champion, or that's not right. He was the heavyweight champion at that time, and his manager was Ric Flair, and he was a
Okay.
heel. And I was annoyed by I hated Ric Flair, so I was annoyed by that. So between him being with Ric Flair and then Hulk Hogan, I bounced.
Okay.
but
Well, they tried to go head throw on Raw,
right.
which segues perfectly into Bret Hart returning after
Yeah.
12 years. 'Cause
That was
I
very
never
good.
thought that would ever happen.
That was the same time.
I think it's funny. TNA, like 2 days earlier, was like, we're going on Monday. And then Raw's like, check this out.
yeah,
Hey, Brett. And then
Yeah.
that pop, I think it got like a 5 rating,
dude,
which
to
is like,
see Bret Hart in the ring with Shawn Michaels. Holy
That's
shit!
never thought I'd see it. The documentary on A&E this week should be interesting because they're doing Bret Hart.
Oh
And
yeah,
they're going to go, I haven't watched any of them yet. I think they're about an hour each. I think eventually I might binge them on like on demand or
Wherever.
something, wherever they end up.
sure.
But the Bret one should be interesting because obviously, what the hot topic in that.
Oh, there's gonna be
documentary
a
is.
few hot topics in that
And
one.
because in the commercial, Vince is like, but did Brett screw Brett or did I? And it's like, okay, bitch.
Oh, boy.
Sold.
I wonder,
But
Vince.
I didn't see that. He actually fought the Nexus at SummerSlam, right? Didn't Brett join like Cena's team?
I don't know.
That sounds
I
about
think
only-
he stuck
I
around.
think he did.
The only
That sounds
match I
right.
remember Bret Hart doing was against Vince at that WrestleMania. That's the only match I
I
remember.
remember that. I
Some-
think at SummerSlam.
Oh, he did. He partnered with John Cena. You're
Yeah,
right.
he
because
did.
they
yeah.
joined that super team.
You're right.
They
He
did,
partnered with John
It
Cena.
was John Cena, Bret Hart, Edge, and Jericho
Edge
versus
and
the
Jericho.
Nexus.
That's right. I forget. I remember him hanging out with John Cena backstage.
Team
That's right.
WWE.
Team WWE
God, now
versus
I
Team
remember.
Nexus.
Yeah.
Bret Hart was part of that. Jesus.
Daniel
Nexus.
Bryan part of that too.
That's probably after
I think he was.
after he got fired. I bet he got fired after night one.
But didn't he come? Is that the one he came back for?
I don't know.
7-on-7. Hold on. I got it right here. Cena, Morrison, R-Truth, Bret Hart, Edge, Jericho, and Daniel Bryan.
There you go.
Wade Barrett, Otunga, Justin Gabriel,
Skip
Heath Slater,
Sheffield.
Darian, Skip Sheffield, Michael Tarver.
Oh, right.
And
AJ Ryback.
guess who got
Who?
Skip
John Cena. He pinned
Who would have thought?
3 members of Nexus by himself.
Of course
It was
he did.
3-on-1 and he beat him.
He
Of
carried
course.
that whole team.
Anyway.
Sounds
He's John
like
Cena.
he-
To be fair,
Segueing
to be
to
fair, he beat the entire Raw roster with only Randy Orton.
He
So
did.
he can
He
handle
did.
multiple people.
Absolutely, he did.
Speaking of somebody who could beat the entire roster without Randy Orton, because he beat his face off too, is Brock Lesnar.
Hey.
With his elbows.
The night after Mania, when everybody's kind of like, "Oh, what's Cena do now?" Rock just beat him. He's down. The last image we saw was him sitting on the stage, like
all pouty face.
Then he's like, positivity, new green shirt. Hey, Brock. Brock beats his ass.
Yeah.
And I popped. I definitely don't consider myself a Brock guy. I understand his value.
Sure.
Don't mistake me arguing with him about Brock's value as me being a Brock fan. He has a shirt. I do not. But
I wonder who got me that shirt.
Wow, I do too. I wonder.
they'll put Yvonne on blast. His return was out of the blue. He'd been
It was
gone
huge.
for a
Yeah.
while.
It was huge.
I know he stopped UFC, but he's like, I'm done with everything. And he'd been gone for so long.
He left, I think, in like 2004, maybe 5. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, it was
WrestleMania 20 was 10 years
6 or
ago.
7 years.
So,
Yeah. So, yeah, he's been gone for a long time. And that was a huge, that's been
And now he's
no
been in
pun
like
even.
7 WrestleManias, ended the Undertaker
been
streak,
since,
won the
yeah.
title 6 times.
Been a lot
He's
since.
fought Roman 19.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's 6. We did that last week.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah, we
right.
did.
We did. We forgot.
It's 6.
Edge. Hard to top his return from
Yeah.
the crowd, the pop.
Mhm.
It's sad that the pandemic kind of hit right after this,
Mhm.
but at least
Bummer.
he did get
You got the pop.
that.
Right.
You got the pop.
He got straight
Excited
up.
for SummerSlam. Rumor him and Seth with fans.
Be fun.
That'll fucking be
Yeah.
great.
Tear it
That'd be
down.
awesome.
That'll be
Yep,
fucking
absolutely.
Hopefully,
fantastic.
Seth doesn't hurt him.
Hopefully
'cause
Seth
he does that.
Hopefully
He
Seth
does.
goes over.
He
But
does. Yeah, he does.
Actually, Seth's to the point where he doesn't have to because he's not going to get
He's
hurt.
popular
The
enough.
back-
Seth Rollins.
I read the backup plan if they don't do Cena Roman is Seth Roman, which I think's way too early.
Yeah.
Maybe be fine, but yeah, it's. I mean, let
I
him.
mean, Big E's not doing shit now. He was going to feud with Alister.
They,
Yeah, I know.
they
So-
ruined that.
Poor
They
him.
cut that.
So how do they explain how Big E lost the title now?
I know.
Like he didn't
Random
lose
guy.
it, but he lost. Like he could have got it.
It's
Did they show that highlight reel
they just-
ever
They
again?
won't mention it. They'll act.
They'll
like
So
cut
when
it
Big
out.
E comes back tomorrow, they're just going to be like, "Yeah, he's pissed off. He got screwed,"
that would be right.
and they just cut it.
They won't. They won't. They'll be like, yeah, he lost.
I hope they're like, Alistair Black screwed him. What happened to Alistair?
They'll. I bet you they won't even acknowledge it. They'll just be like, oh, I lost it. Here I am.
I
You
wondered this. I guess his wife ain't coming back now.
I guess not.
know. I have no
Me
idea.
and you were
I mean,
talking
remember the
about that.
report a month
last
ago? Well,
Me and you were talking about that yesterday. I asked that. You're like, nope, probably not.
and my bias, Cena, 2008 Rumble.
I have that
no
on
dirt sheet.
I have that on mine.
Nobody
Yep.
thought he
He was
broke his
still
neck
injured.
like
Yeah.
He
5
did.
months before.
I think it was the day before.
Yeah.
Like, he
And the
came
look
back
on Triple
How
H's
fast he
and
was.
face.
Triple H spazzed out. There's about 9-10 people. He came in.
Yeah.
He's launching out Batistas and big
Mhm.
shows by
Yeah, man.
himself.
He did.
And then him and
He
Triple
cleaned
H.
house by
Triple
himself.
H, who got credited with injuring him.
He did.
Cena beat him and went on to win the championship that year at WrestleMania.
Sure, it was good.
He caught me off guard. I'm a Cena guy.
They caught
After
Well, you
everybody
know
off
you're the
guard.
biggest Cena fan.
It's like
I
5
know.
months. How you
It
break
was-
your
I
neck?
know.
It was
That
quick.
He ripped some. I don't know if he
He
broke
did.
it, but he damaged his neck severely.
God.
He's supposed to be out for about a year.
Yeah.
5-6 months later, he's fucking at the Rumble.
That was awesome.
Then he starts doing house shows. Like he's doing.
Yeah, he did.
He's a
People
beast.
forget about Cena is he 7 days. Like he do Raw, 3 house shows, main event SmackDown, 2 more house shows. Maybe take a Sunday
Yeah.
off.
Right.
Then
It's nuts.
Wow.
yeah, he'd work a 6-day schedule.
Yeah.
Then do Make-A-Wishes
He's
when
a
he's not
freak.
wrestling.
He's a very busy
Dude's a
man.
freak.
Yeah, he is.
I don't understand that. That's another form of psychopathy. I don't
Gotta
yeah,
like.
that's easily
You
my
gotta,
number one.
you gotta respect what he does.
I didn't have.
You do.
I only had one debut, but I know she particularly went debut heavy.
Mine's all
So-
debuts.
I did.
Returns all
And
debuts.
I was
she
looking-
wanted to have her debut on here as one. I told her no. 'Cause that was audio only.
It was. It
No
was.
tune into that, huh? Yeah,
All right, Yvonne, let's see your list.
All right, let's see.
Start with 5. So we had the same number 5.
We do.
Nice.
Styles debut. I remember watching that. I mean, I knew a little bit about Styles, but Roman Reigns' face. I mean, I think Roman kind of, I guess, knew who he was, and a lot of people didn't think Styles was going to sign from Impact and New Japan. It was awesome. So it was awesome, and then he
It
came
was
in.
awesome.
That's one of your favorite wrestlers. You didn't know who the guy was until that.
I
night.
did.
All right,
I
fair
did.
enough.
I did.
He's just that good. You can't not like
Your
AJ
number
Styles.
4 threw me off.
What?
Your number 4.
Shinsuke's?
You don't even like Shinsuke now.
No, I do like him.
I forgot it when he debuted. I don't even know what he
So
said.
he
I don't
debuted
either.
on SmackDown April 4th, 2017. His entrance. I like his entrance.
It's
And
cool entrance.
he interrupted a segment with Miz and Maurice. I think they were doing the Nikki John Cena crap. And Shinsuke just came out and his music went nuts. The fans went crazy. And he just came out basically showing the future, the new era, and the Miz, and then just take the ring over. Just the music and the fans just went nuts for him. Then he started talking, and then he left. Yeah, his entrance is not. It's hard to argue his entrance.
It is hard to argue his entrance. It's a phenomenal entrance.
So yeah, he kind of welcomed, say, "Hey, I'm here." So
wrong word, I guess. I want to steal AJ's shit. Nakamura's entrance is fantastic.
I like his entrance. But he's okay to me.
I type in Shinsuke Nakamura, and the first thing that pops up is Shinsuke Nakamura married to Asuka.
I know. I seen that last night too.
I think that's racist.
What the fuck,
and also, when I looked that up, it said, "Does Asuka have a twin?"
All right.
Like,
I firmly agree with the rest of her top three.
That's it. Oh, hell yeah.
Kevin Owens debuted. He was NXT champion.
Another guy that could have been a lot bigger on the main roster.
John Cena came out with his open challenge. He was United States champion. Anybody to come out. Kevin Owens' music pops up. The fans went nuts. Kevin Owens came out and just talked to him. Not on your terms. It'll be on my terms. And he attacked Cena. Yeah,
with Triple H, because Triple H is, "This is my dude."
And when KO,
the NXT champion, right?
Mm-hmm, he was, yeah. And when he attacked Cena, he stepped on the title was right by Cena's arm.
He did.
He stepped on it.
Title.
Like, I don't give a crap. I'm the NXT champion. I'm beating Cena in an elimination match against Cena and winning.
He beat him at a pay-per-view.
He got it. He earned Cena's respect.
Didn't he win the U.S. title?
He did. He did. Yeah.
I can't tell you. I can't believe it.
I remember when he debuted.
Elimination.
I was like, "Who the fuck's?" Because I didn't watch NXT. That I knew who he was, but I'd watch takeovers.
When I looked it up, it was an elimination match against Cena, and he beat him. So he had the title.
They feuded him for quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Cena really put Owens over.
He did, absolutely. He did.
And just to see Owens really not doing a whole lot these days, it makes me sad because Triple H and John Cena both fucking love Kevin Owens.
Look how he gets treated.
And it's funny because if they treated the Intercontinental title relevant at all, even though I feel like Apollo's done a solid job,
he's doing.
It'd feel bigger to him. Hopefully, it is. We'll see.
Yep. We will see.
And I had a John Cena.
Somebody you won't see.
Oh, you have his original debut.
Yeah, I like to. I mean,
I was pissed. I forgot. I was going to change and add this, but I was like, "Fuck it."
Did my research. That's how I
actually forgot about that one. Yep, that's
a good diehard John Cena fan.
I like the one. I like his Rumble one, but I like this one when he debuted. Kurt Angle. He interrupted Kurt Angle. Ruthless aggression started. He goes, "Who the heck are you?" Cena slapped him in the face. That I just can't get that. This Kurt Angle's face and Cena's weird entrance music coming. I'm like, who the heck is this?
Look at that.
Oh man, that's a pretty.
That brings back memories.
That's
right?
sad.
Look at him.
So yeah, his
arrogant prick, Michael Cole.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that was a good. I forgot about that too, Yvonne. That was a really. I watched that live. I remember my old bedroom, my parents' house, my other bedroom, like not one I moved into when I was in high school, but the one before that. And watching my little 14-inch TV, whatever it was, watching John Cena just slap Kurt Angle. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he accepted Kurt Angle's open challenge he had. He wasn't a champion. He just wanted somebody from the roster that had guts to come face him.
Absolutely.
And Taker put him over like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's
he
it.
did.
He said, "What's your name?"
Yep.
John Cena's like, "I like you, kid."
He did.
Then he about got fired a month later. Until they figured out you could rap, you're good.
So, talking about that, think about that though, like how John Cena almost got fired. Think about the guys who were just as good as John Cena who did get fired. And we'll never know how good they could have been because they get lucky with a rap.
They did.
It was like a tour bus. Like Cena can rap.
Right.
Okay. It's weird how things happen.
Good thing Eminem was popular back then.
Thank God for Eminem.
I haven't looked at Chuck's top 5. I'd be surprised if this is
my number one's hard to forgettable. Chris Jericho's debut, probably one of my favorites. The Rock's carrying on a conversation, interrupts The Rock. Jericho don't even acknowledge that Rock's in the ring and just keeps talking and talking. The Rock's like, "I don't have a problem, but son, what is your name?" And then it doesn't matter what your name is. He just chewed Jericho.
I've watched this segment.
The countdown.
Same.
The fans went nuts. He's getting booed. Jericho's just the jerk that he is to this day. The countdown. I was like, "Is this Chris Jericho?" I was very excited. And The Rock's just standing like, "You just interrupted me." And The Rock just let him talk.
Silk shirt. Yeah, that was one of the best debuts of all time.
That was awesome.
Absolutely. It's actually not on my list.
Oh, shit.
Only because I knew it'd be on one of your guys' list, and we've talked about it before.
I did with this stuff. I do research and I study all this stuff.
Oh yeah, No, I mean, you can't deny that.
Nuh-uh.
That
I like
debut.
our lists are like all different.
It's good when they're different. So I
Yeah.
got a few ones here.
We had
obviously.
one common one.
Yeah, I think we all three have one of the same.
I knew that one would happen.
It had
Yeah.
to be. So we're going to start with the Diamond Dallas Page DP when he debuted in WWE. If you guys remember, it was obviously after the invasion stuff, and WWE had bought WCW. And during that initial invasion, Diamond Dallas Page and all the other big WCW guys weren't part of that. The contract issues and stuff. And so down the line, Taker was there, and he started getting stalked by a guy, his wife, Sarah, before his new wife. But his old wife was around, and she was getting stalked by a guy with a camera, very horror movie-like. And he was stalking Sarah and attacking The Undertaker, doing all kinds of mind games.
Was it the Velveteen Dream?
It could have been.
Don't make me
So that all was going down, and for a couple of weeks, we're like, who is this guy? Who's stalking Taker's wife? Who's stealing Taker's motorcycle? Like, what is going on? And then he came with a mask, and he took his mask off, and it was Diamond Dallas Page. So it was a big, holy shit, that's Diamond Dallas Page. And then they quickly buried him for the next year and a half. But his initial debut was pretty cool because, one, he was a big name from WCW, and he debuted in WWE against The Undertaker. It was like, holy shit, nobody expected that to be DDP. So I remember that one live. All mine are from memory. Like, I didn't look anything up. I did have to research Taz a little bit because I forgot the details, but I remember thinking it was awesome. So other than Taz,
and he taught Randy Orton his finisher.
He did. I was about to say.
he did.
He sure did.
He gave him the respect too. He's like, take it.
He
Because
did.
I think Randy Orton asked if he could, and he was like, yes, yes,
He sure did.
yes. Number 4, Kane, 1997, I believe,
I don't
at
know how
the
the fuck you remember these
Bad.
dates.
I don't know these either.
At the Bad Blood pay-per-view, it was Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. Triple H at ringside. They do their thing, and then fire hits, the music hits. Who is this guy?
His done music, that was really cool.
It was Kane. Kane comes down. First time you ever see Kane, and you can imagine the mask, the red, the hair, like a monster. He tears off the Hell in a Cell door for the first time ever, goes in there and takes out The Undertaker, leading to the phenomenal Hall of Fame worthy career that Kane has done.
Absolutely.
And, obviously the stuff he did with The Undertaker after that, I think they fought at WrestleMania at least twice.
Won the tag titles a few
Yeah,
times.
Brothers of
Brothers of
Destruction.
Destruction.
That was my favorite tag
Kane-
team.
Yeah, man.
Kane to me is always going to be one of the most underappreciated.
Agreed.
I don't want to say
Yeah.
underrated because I think people realize how good he was. I just feel like you think of Andre and you think about big men. So you think about Andre, Undertaker, Brock, Mark Henry to an extent, Big Show, like all these big guys, but you kind of forget about Kane.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
his shit with
absolutely.
Taker was
He's
great.
so diverse.
But then later,
Absolutely.
the Yes thing with Daniel Bryan was great.
So
he went through
hilarious.
some weird ass gimmicks.
He
with
did.
Lita and babies. And
Oh,
shit. Like,
shit.
Snitsky.
Yeah.
Snitsky,
Like
yeah.
Kane's been.
He had a black wedding with Lita.
Did you?
He did.
All right. So let me ask you. So,
That was, oh,
goddamn it.
God.
So
that was funny.
sitting on your couch watching that, did you think, fuck, in 2020 he's going to be the mayor of Tennessee?
Now,
Oh,
think
no.
about this storyline they did
This
with
is the
that.
guy. They're like the Rock's like you should run for president. Like
Right, yeah.
Kane,
Sure.
like the guy who was choke slamming babies
Sure. He
and tombstoning.
technically
Didn't him and Taker kidnap Stephanie?
They did.
that was just The Undertaker.
That was
Just Undertaker.
that was
Put him
this
on
year.
that.
Actually, Edge and Christian too.
Oh boy, boy, how things change.
Right. But think about this though with the story with Lita. He forced her to marry him, and she got pregnant because Snitsky killed him later. But she got pregnant by Kane, so technically Kane raped Lita off air. But
Oh, God.
technically, just saying that happened.
That's like that was a Bold and the Beautiful storyline like 3 months ago.
There you go. Yeah, so Kane, I agree. I agree with you. I want to say underrated, but definitely
Underappreciated.
Underappreciated for sure.
And
Yeah.
dude, the dude was golden. And his entrance, I still love to this day. I
He's
would
definitely
have
off
to
it.
watch it.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but
Yeah, he will
it's
be.
obvious.
Yeah.
He
He
should
will
be
be,
very.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
They should put him in with not with Taker, but like maybe the same. I don't know. Kane could probably headline himself.
He could, yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. Whatever.
Sure.
They'll just do like Booker T's in there 8 times. Once it's Booker,
Right.
once it's King Booker, once it's
Whatever.
Harlem Heat. So
Yep.
you do Brothers of Destruction and them individually.
Sure.
That's how I would do it.
Next on my list.
Another Hall of Famer.
And I've never been a big fan of Goldberg.
Phil somewhere.
Uh,
happy.
Gilbert, as we
but-
call Gilbert.
Never been a fan of Goldberg, but
Me either.
again, he was huge in WCW and had the streak. Everybody loves him. Goldberg, all of that bullshit. And he wasn't part of the initial buyout because of contracts, and he was one guy, just like AJ Styles with WWE. He was another guy that at one point you would never believe to see him in WWF, WWE, ever. Like he was just wasn't. He's a WCW guy. And then the night after WrestleMania, much like Chris Jericho did with The Rock, Goldberg interrupts The Rock and actually spears his ass and goes on to take The Rock's title. And I think right after that was when The Rock kind of went to Hollywood. But yeah, so Goldberg's debut against The Rock, I think, is up there as a pretty big moment.
You know what's funny? I remember how I found that out. I got on WWEdotcom.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it said WWE signs Goldberg. We'll be on Raw tonight. Like, back in that day, that's how they announced
Sure.
stuff. It wasn't a surprise. Like, oh shit, Goldberg.
No, fair enough.
Some surprises you want to advertise.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
He'd
Bill
be-
Goldberg.
he'd
coming
be one
to
of
you.
them.
Like, you want to advertise that, which is
Yeah.
like, remember, like TNT has told AW, quit surprising people with Sting.
Right.
It's
How
like
you
we
get
want
money.
to advertise him.
Right.
But I remember that.
We want
I
the
remember
views
that
this
debut.
week, not next week.
So I remember they back when they used to just sign people. I'd get on WWE.com before Raw, back when it was good, every week. What's happening? What's the preview? What are the matches? Because everything used to matter.
Sure.
And I remember Goldberg, and he had a pretty good they did put the fucking rocket on him right away, too,
They did.
which you figured they would.
Sure. Well, you have to. Yeah, he's Goldberg. He has to have the title. he
Right,
has to have that gold around his
And
waist.
you never thought 20 years later he's the same way.
Yeah, seriously.
Put over young talent? Nah.
Yeah, I'm
give him
Goldberg.
Fuck the Fiend. Give me the belt.
Right. Yeah, so that was a big one. Number 2, this guy. I love this. I've always been a big fan of Taz. I don't really watch AEW, so I can't attest to these days. But, man, I like Taz back in WWF.
He's just a manager.
ECW. Fair enough. But that day, I loved his WWE music. Loved it. That yeah.
That
It was kind of like a hospital kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it was.
It was.
It's
Yeah.
like a whatever you call it. Yeah, I love that shit. And it was
Your lifeline. Like,
lifeline.
if it goes down, you're dead.
There you go.
You're
And
dead.
if you guys remember, this was back when Kurt Angle was still undefeated. You know, he was the Euro, Intercontinental, blah, blah, blah. The 3 Eyes of Success.
I missed that title.
Yeah, I do too.
European title was very.
It was
I thought it was very cool.
It was cool. So Kurt Angle was at his fucking elite. And then at the Royal Rumble, I think it was 2000. I looked it up earlier. It was 2000. So I'll make sure I get the facts right because I was kind of young and don't remember it that well. But Kurt Angle, I think, had an open challenge, and Taz came out, and Taz was popular in ECW, you know. So he's like, oh shit, this is Taz. And he just destroyed Kurt Angle. Didn't technically beat him, they said, because I think he made Kurt Angle pass out. And so Kurt Angle was like, I still didn't lose. I still didn't lose. Still undefeated. But Taz just came out there, you know, at Kurt Angle's prime and just beat his ass. It's like, holy shit, this guy. And then he had that awesome music. So I was a really big Taz fan there for a minute. You know, then he became an announcer pretty quick.
Yeah, he did.
But you know, so I did like that debut a lot. That one got me kind of jacked up as a kid. Like, holy shit, this is awesome.
His entrance was cool.
I can't believe that was 21 years ago. Damn.
That's crazy.
I remember watching it.
Yeah. I was a whole drinking person ago. So that's wild. And then number 1, as we've already discussed twice tonight, plus many times in the past,
3 times.
AJ Styles, man, like that's a guy. I just watched him that Friday night on Ring of Honor. I remember him in TNA. I remember watching this dude in like 2003. I came across AJ Styles back when he was real little, had very short hair. Like this guy's just, I don't know, something about his face that I like. Then he starts talking, and it's like, no, back to the ring work. We don't need, we don't need that. But yeah, he's just an awesome dude. I loved him in TNA. He's literally between him and Beer Money with Bobby Roode, the 2 reasons I watched TNA. Even in college, we drank to it. You know, we'd go to the bar, get drunk, come back and watch TNA just to watch AJ Styles. And then he partnered with Ric Flair. It's like, well, this sucks now. And he, like you said earlier, Josh, he's just a guy I would never believe to see in WWE. Yeah. And here we are.
He's one of the few guys Vince is like, fuck.
Been here for 5 years.
Vince was like, I should have signed him 10 years ago.
Yep.
Absolutely.
He's like, I was wrong. Vince don't ever say he's wrong.
He doesn't.
He's came out and
don't.
said, damn, in that documentary about Styles, he's like, I didn't. Remember when he signed, they thought he was just going to be a mid-carder.
Sure. That was
they
their
said
goal.
like IC title was like, IC US title was the ceiling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is part of what's wrong with WWE because the IC and US title should not be considered.
That the
like
game.
when people hear that, they think mid card. Like they used to matter. Like that's why like
They used to be elevating
NXT,
titles.
they just had the cruiserweight title closed a show 2 weeks ago. Like,
Sure.
That means
They
then the North American title closed it the last week.
Sure.
And this week the Balor and Cross just closed. Like the women's title, like it changes.
Sure.
Like the UK title will main event, and like every title matters.
I got you. Right.
Like no matter. Like WWE has 47 titles on the main roster,
Yeah, man.
and the most over is probably R-Truth.
and they used
I just realized
Yeah.
he's not even champion right now. Zawa has it.
Because the annoying one, he makes the
that
bird
is.
Now,
sounds. He's
my
so
question is, if they fired Tozawa, does he have to get the belt back?
Did they fire him?
And does
Oh,
Vince
good.
forget that he has the belt?
Yes.
That guy was
Vince-
so annoying.
Vince doesn't even know he has the belt.
Does Vince turn on Raw? Does Vince turn on Raw Talk like, where's Truth's belt?
Right.
And also, why did Styles and Omos not have their belts with them when they came out Monday? Did you notice that?
Yeah,
They walk out. I was like, where's their belts?
They didn't have their belts. No.
And then the ref's like, I said, where the fuck those come
Oh,
from?
the ref had him.
Like, what did they do? Like, oh shit.
It's weird.
Let me text Vince. Forgot belts.
Right. Go to the concession stands and
$500.
go to the vendor booth and get 2
They
belts.
came out without the belts. I didn't notice it. I saw on Twitter, people were like, where's their titles?
I didn't notice
And
it.
it was a title match. And I was like, that is weird.
And you said there's the ref.
And the ref's just like,
He pulls them out.
that's
The
like,
ref
what
is
the fuck?
prepared. The ref's always prepared.
He went backstage like, no, you guys ain't carrying them. Give them here.
I got him. I got
That
this.
was
But
so
it's funny.
funny.
AJ Styles is a Grand Slam champion
Yeah,
now.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Easily a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And he, even with all this bullshit, he signed a 5-year deal and he said he's not wrestling anywhere else. He's retiring
Oh, he's
here.
done. He deserves to
And
be
he
done.
wants
He
to
deserves
coach in
to.
NXT when it's
Absolutely.
over.
That's
if they let
awesome.
him.
Oh yeah.
I think he also, before he's done, will end up down there working with someone.
I could see
like
that.
I
if
can too.
he worked with Cole. He's worked with Ciampa, Gargano. I mean, Daniel Bryan would be nice to see because I still think Daniel Bryan they're going to keep.
Sure.
They're going to.
That's where all their money's going.
Dude, I even watched a couple of New Japan episodes because of AJ Styles back in like 2015.
Imagine if they bought. I don't think they're going to team with New Japan because AEW's like form. But if they did, some shit they
Yeah.
could do there.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
just
man.
I don't know that dynamic, and I don't know what WWE's doing. So yeah,
That's
But no,
one of them things.
all these lists, there's no wrong answers because
No.
you know it's funny. Who has the most debuts and re-debuts and returns in history of professional wrestling? Triple H.
I can
He's
believe
not
that.
on any of our lists because he's had
Yeah.
like 75
Yeah.
returns.
He has.
He gets
Yeah.
injured a lot, and he was one of the guys. He was in WCW, but his, I think he debuted in WWF as Terra Rising, so it's not really memorable.
Right. Yeah.
But then he had his big return in 2002 whatever year it was when he tore his quad for the first time.
Then Backlash of 05, Judgment Day of 2007, WrestleMania 2008.
Last week, probably.
He's had a lot of returns.
Yeah, he has.
I think he's returned 3 times.
Wow.
I looked up because I was like, there has to be something. I was like, none of these really ring a bell. It's
Yeah.
like three times he's came back at the Rumble, twice at King of the Ring.
Jeez.
Um,
He's had a lot.
yeah, it's
I think his first big return was when Kurt Angle interrupted. I think was hands down the best because that's when it was just crazy. The energy was.
and he
was
always had a new
nuts.
entrance song.
He did, yeah.
Like
He
fucking
always
Motorhead.
did.
He's like, I ripped my quad
Yeah.
out. Make me
Dude,
a new song.
That's one thing Triple H. We have to do like the best entrance music one of these days because Triple H will be
Yeah.
on three on the list 3 different
Absolutely,
times.
he will.
He's always had good music.
You know, it's funny. Alister said he did a Twitch stream. I didn't watch it. But
I
read
saw
it.
the highlights of
He
that.
said that he created a new. They
I saw
worked on a
that.
new
Yeah,
theme,
it was gonna
and he
social
has the
media.
rights to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So he said he's taking it with him.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He
I
said it was even better than his first one, which, as you know, everybody loved his first original NXT one, not the one where Vince made the
Butchered it. Yeah.
crack and then changed some of the shit.
Sure.
So that's
I don't mind.
Hell
that
yeah.
would be entrance ones be rough. That'd be a hard one.
That
We
would
will
be
do
a-
that at some
we
point. We
will
might have
have
to
to.
do some kind of bracket on that, like put them against each other and pick one winner.
That's
It's hard to do
tough.
5.
Yeah, there is. It's hard.
It is.
It's like number 1, my time is now. Number 2, my time is now. Number 3, Dr. Thugonomics. Number 4, my
Dude,
time is now.
Yeah, man. I would say actually, for not being a John Cena fan, I've always liked his music. if you do your own music, it's going to be good. Him,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, The Rock, they all 3 just said the words
Ric Flair.
themselves.
Woo!
Yeah,
like John Cena did have good music.
he did.
I dig it. But yeah, so that's my list. I think we had some pretty solid lists there,
Yeah.
ladies and fellas.
We did.
Yep. What else we got?
Next week.
Oh
100th
shit!
episode.
Already, can you believe that we've been around for nearly
That's
2 years?
next week.
100th,
Our 99th episode sits
Wow.
right now.
and the bitch ain't one. Wait,
Phones and bitches are all over. That's a different story for a different podcast.
Oh boy.
that's a Josh's junk episode right there.
I don't think Archie knows what he's getting himself into.
I don't think he does.
It's like,
either.
don't make me an intro. It might not last more than one episode.
There you go.
Because the buzz might not be around by the time it's over.
So there you go, guys. Next week is the 100th episode right here at Regularly Scheduled Hostilities, and we're going to go all out. It's going to be nuts. I'm going to be naked. It's going to be crazy. So you
Oh,
have to
boy.
tune in. You have to watch it. It might get RSH banned from StreamYard, but hey, some things are worth the risk.
I'm banned off Cash App.
I still want to know why you're banned from Cash App. How do you get banned on
I'm not
Cash
even
App?
surprised why.
What the
Plenty
fuck?
of fish and TikTok.
I understand plenty of fish because, but
And Twitch.
this guy,
And proper use of the American flag.
Wow.
don't be that guy.
Just a blow up doll.
Oh my god.
The flag was a blow up doll?
The flag went in a blow up
Oh,
doll.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
my god. No wonder you're banned.
Dude, that's like the most American thing ever.
I
Like,
know, and I was
not-
wearing my America suit and everything.
Oh
That's
my
not disrespectful.
gosh.
That's just showing our heritage. But
I saluted and everything. I had my American hat on.
there you
I
go.
had my cane, my American glasses. The blow up doll,
Did you put it on YouTube too?
I tried. They took it off.
At least you weren't banned, I guess.
I put it under my Josh's Junk account, and they removed it. And Lucas put it right back up, and they removed it and said, if you put it on here within 24 hours, we're going to delete your account. So we didn't put it back up.
So you stopped.
I still have 48 videos on there.
Oh,
From that.
yeah.
So I was like, Lucas, you spent a lot of time editing.
Don't want to
Because
do
he'd
that.
edit each individual video, which take him like 2 days.
Sure.
So I was like, you don't want to just get that banned. So we didn't.
That's a
It's
good
not like
point.
some jackasses who create a website and then delete everybody's content for no reason in one night. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's not what
And then
you
they
want.
try to create a website called Breaking News Entertainment or Pop Culture, but that's a different.
Right.
Yeah.
Save that
whatever.
for Josh's Junk because I might have. We'll see how that goes. I might be a week or two away from debuting that.
There you go. I dig it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
100th episode.
100. So, guys, that is a big feat. I mean, even, that's a lot. And
That's
a
100 weeks.
a
That
lot of
is, yeah.
podcasts stop after like 10,
They do.
11, 12,
The boardroom.
13. So I mean,
The
it's
shit show.
Aw.
Right.
So
Aw.
it is important. So I think it is a big feat, and we're all proud of ourselves for being around that long and lasting 100. Because I don't last in any other thing in my life. Other than,
Stand your ground. Cage my IQ.
Football. Yeah.
so
Hey, buddy, drive.
we keep each other motivated because I know without you, I wouldn't be doing it this long. So
Fuck was that? What the hell was that Monday night show we were going to do? Wrestling and football one. Remember
I don't.
that? What I forget what it was called.
Oh, on AE or something?
Yeah, remember
I
it
don't
was
remember.
football meets wrestling, and Salvatore was going to do it.
It sounds like a terrible idea. If
Yeah, I forget what that. End zone wrestling.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my-
that. I do remember that name now. End Zone
God.
Wrestling.
So that's another podcast there. I'm just naming podcasts that make 100 episodes.
They did.
Fair enough. So it is pretty cool to be able to say we're
That
going to
is
do 100 next week
That is
live. When we started this shit, it was audio only. Now we're live.
Beers with the Buzz.
So we're like 3 in. I mean,
Yes,
it's
you can
not,
check out Beer with the Buzz. It's me and Chuck's second podcast on the
not-
network.
it's not canceled. It's just we do it when we're drunk and feeling the mood, And
Just when you want to.
right, it's one of them things. It's not a weekly, thing.
Hey, look, my last boardroom is LeBron in trouble. Of course, the Lakers about to lose. You guys saw it.
Dude, I heard he left his team the other day. That's a rule leader right there.
He's a
Yeah,
fucking
weirdo.
moron.
Just left
He's a
his
piece
own
of
team.
trash.
He got pissed in the fourth quarter and
Walked
left.
away like
Oh,
a
what
pussy.
a
And then he's
jerk.
like, they play tonight. So if they lose tonight, they're out.
I hope they lose.
If they
so
win
bad.
tonight, it's tied, and they play Saturday night, and then winner
Oh,
moves
That's
on.
a team
They
player.
need to lose
I need
tonight
them
and be
to
done.
lose.
But tonight it's in LA, so they have home court advantage. But Saturday it's in Phoenix.
So,
So
we pick a drink anytime that LeBron says "ref," oh,
yeah, LeBron should play hockey because he falls.
and then cries.
And, yeah,
He
like
cries and runs away.
he's rough. Fuck LeBron.
I think that LeBron James is who Godsback was singing about when they said, "Ooh, crying like a bitch." Anyway, yeah, guys. So that's all we got for tonight on the 99th episode of RSH. But like we already said, next week is the 100th triple digits. See you there. Cannot wait for it to go down. So, Josh, Yvonne, Chuck, signing out on the last two-digit episode, and we will see you all on the big 100 Until then, continue to fear regularly scheduled hostilities.